Just waiting on initial jobless claims data coming through this morning for the month-over-month period, and also last week on continuing claims. There it is, 241,000 for the week of October 12th versus 269,000 expected there. We also got retail sales for the month of September, 0.4% uptick for the month-over-month number on that. If you take out autos, only 0.5% to the upside for retail sales for the month of September. Continuing claims, 1.86 million versus 1.87 million expected on the continuing claims data there. Philly Fed index just coming through as well, 23.5 on the CapEx index. The employment index downside, negative 2.2. Lots of data right now at 8:30. Retail sales year over year, 1.7% uptick, so slightly higher than expected overall. On the year-over-year number, 1.6 was the expectations there. Coming up, just keep in mind there is some PMI data. We also get some energy data as well. Lots to consider this morning as far as the overall market is concerned. We did get a nice spike there. Just checking on the futures here, 0.86 for the NASDAQ, S&P about 0.5% right now. Coming back in a hurry there. I was still watching that Dominion from yesterday. Higher again this morning, coming off of that headline yesterday we were touching on with Amazon getting into the nuclear race. Lots of people talking about this one already. PIXY among, as you were saying, Sharif, at least 4 or 5 now. 100% gainers once again on the small cap side of things. We get TSM earnings, absolute blowout here, almost 10% off the highs right now, almost 10% to the upside for TSMC. That has Nvidia back to highs as well, looking really strong here so far, pre-market, 3%. No downtick whatsoever for Nvidia on that. Lots to look at. I mean, there's this Uber buying Expedia story as well. Boy. That's kind of out of nowhere.
That's interesting. I just want to touch on this TSMC, Brendo. They're knocking on the door of $1 trillion valuation now, very close to their U.S. On their U.S. listed exchange there. What I want to mention specifically about TSM was that they reported that they're increasing CapEx about $30 billion per year. This is after we heard yesterday from ASML that some of their, their customers were not expanding their factories nearly as quick, Brendo. So a bit of a dichotomy there. Interesting look. Meta as well laying some people off. Interesting stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we'll touch on some of that story. It's kind of funny with food allowances being used for other things, but let's save that. I was just noticing XPeng downside in a pretty big way. We'll touch on Lucid as well, getting crushed here in the pre-market, but XPEV down about 4%. All the Chinese names under pressure once again here this morning. So it's semiconductors, really. AMD as well, nice lift, 2.5% here in the pre-market. I just brought up Netflix here. We get the first of the big names anyways, coming through after the close tonight with earnings. For NFLX, still holding on to pre-market highs here, guys. Good morning.
Good morning. And it's a good morning for the chip names, that's for sure. Always. Bet that. Especially, look, TSM's obviously a blowout, but don't lose sight of the fact. I mean, Nvidia is probably going to get that 52-week high today. It's less than $1 away from that. That Uber story, I don't know. Like, I always feel like if it's not, it's just a rumor right now. Like they want to create a super app. Maybe they'll buy Expedia. So they were down on that. I don't wonder if nothing concrete comes out if Uber doesn't catch a bit of a bid here today. Obviously, you spend a bunch of cash to make an acquisition. It could head to the downside, but I kind of like that for a bit of a bounce. We haven't even talked about Bitcoin breaking that trend line, hopefully today. So descending trend line on BTC. It looks like any moment now, well, okay, maybe not any moment now, but today or tomorrow, some point, we're getting really close, lower highs. Probably needs to get through, like this trend top is about 68.5, let's call it 69.70. That's where this needs to go. That breakout can take a lot of things higher. So that's going to be on watch. Crypto names, obviously the chips, no question about it. Netflix will wait till after the bell. I don't see any Netflix trading today, not what the chips doing, or until they split, really.
I find Netflix too hard. The spread is too big. And that would be wicked.
I think they'll split.
Imagine Netflix goes down to a $70 stock, 10-1.
Everyone else is doing it. I'm just saying.
So what's the update on the Achilles there? That's what everybody's waiting for.
So the surgeon was all smiles. He's super happy with everything.
Yep.
I'm driving. I
Okay.
can drive now.
Okay, you can put some
It's
pressure.
walking within tolerance, right? So I can drive. I was driving myself to my eye
that's
appointment
it.
after, back and forth.
Eye appointment, eh? Okay.
Well,
okay.
when I have a day off, I just try to get all the stuff that I need to get done. So I have
Okay.
that after the fact. But
Let me know if
outside
it
of-
helps see the charts better because I think I need to get an eye appointment too.
no, it doesn't.
Saying uranium.
Glaucoma runs in the family, so I got to see eye doctor twice a year
I think it's actually.
just to be safe.
No, I think it is twice a year. Like regardless of family history, I think once you get to.
Well, I don't.
Not to
most
say that once you
people-
get to our age, but
Most
I think,
people don't do it. No, but
yeah.
what I was gonna get is that when I drive if it's a little bit too long, it's actually like a workout.
Right.
So then
right.
walking after I get a little
Take 10-minute
stiff.
breaks.
So I probably couldn't drive up north or anything like that, but I can walk. I still use the crutch for distances, but
Well, the Jets they may need a new quarterback soon. So as long as your Achilles is healing up, then you can figure that out. But I mean, you just got yourself a
I ain't
wicked.
playing no football.
I mean, Amari Cooper was a great pickup for the Bills, obviously as well. We talked about that. You were here that day, actually.
You know how pleased I am over that.
Already. Okay. How about this, Sharif? Listen to this.
Uh-oh.
So Amari Cooper, about 4 years ago in his prime, Dallas traded Amari Cooper for a 5th-round pick in his prime. He was just traded for a 3rd-round pick. I wonder if maybe
What is Jerry doing?
He's going to do
know.
better in Green Bay than he did in Cleveland.
You know what the thing is? I think that no, he's in Buffalo right now. The I think you guys are close, Sharif, to maybe signing Bill Belichick. What do you think about that?
Anything but Mike McCarthy. I
remember mentioning that to you about the Packers. Matt LaFleur is a great coach.
I'd like to see that. I think they'd jive Jerry Jones and Bill Belichick.
I don't know.
As if I needed a
big
reason to
egos
hate him
there.
anymore.
Big egos over there, though.
Like that's the ultimate hatred for a Bills fan if the Dallas Cowboys get Belichick. That is, it just takes it. Like, what are they going to have? Like
He's
Tom
like-
Brady as a quarterback?
He's
next?
like America's coach. They got America's team. They got America's owner. Anyways,
What do you think about Tom Brady getting in as minority owner with Raiders?
yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. I mean, LeBron James has some ownership in different sports. Isn't there? There's a soccer team, right? LeBron James, I think, is involved with as well.
Couple of things now.
I'm fine. You know what the thing is? The more, you're right. The more, yeah, it's a big one there. The more, important people that you get involved with investing and things like that, then hopefully it helps out the new generation because we've often seen a lot of the times when some of these athletes squander money.
Yeah.
So, nothing wrong with seeing Tom Brady
Exactly.
putting down some of his earnings and investing in something. So yeah, I think it's good. I mean, he's not buying Lucid or anything. That's the one thing over there. All right, let's kick it back there, and people, put your favorite football teams there in the chat, and we can see what's going on and see if anyone likes the Jaguars.
Almost like we knew what was coming. Yeah, let's touch on this Lucid debacle because what a mess this morning. Just quickly, ATNF, quick round trip to 18 yesterday, right back to 450 this morning. Wow, did that come off in a hurry. But yeah, ATNF down 30% after that just crazy move that we sat here and watched in the pre-market yesterday for that one. So coming off in a hurry, but as we said, I mean, there's a few new ones today moving around. But yeah, let's touch on this Lucid story this morning, also significantly lower to the tune of about 19%. I mean, this is a very, very exact number, 262,446,931 share offering.
Brendo, the ink on the $1.5 billion check that they got in August still hasn't dried.
No.
I mean, they got $1.5 billion from the Saudi Public Investment Fund a couple of months ago, and now they're looking to raise more to, as you mentioned, that very specific number that they're raising there. B of A Securities is the sole underwriter, and they're also going to grant Bank of America Securities a 30-day option to purchase more shares. Lucid's majority stakeholder, obviously after the PIF, they're looking at purchasing about 374 million shares in a private placement concurrent with the public offering. So all sorts of cash being raised here.
Yeah, what they do with it remains to be seen, I guess, at this point. But I mean, we were talking about that story. Who was it? It was a hotel chain here in Toronto that was going to start using a Lucid Air.
Four Seasons.
The Four Seasons was going to start using a Lucid Air for an airport shuttle to bring people to and from the airport to the hotel. That's a weekly chart, so we're not at all-time lows yet, guys, but right around the corner here.
Yeah. So what are they going to do with that cash? There's a scene in I think it was like The Dark Knight when Joker gets all that just gigantic pile of cash in that big warehouse, and he just burns it all. So essentially, in a lot of ways, that's what they've been doing. But that's a lot of EV names. That's kind of what they've been doing.
A lot of this section.
Well, it's a finance term. It's cash. It's cash burn. That's what's essentially happening. Look, sometimes you get these offerings, and a stock will give you some kind of a bottoming event, usually on something like this. So with that said, Lucid is going to be, it's 28% short float. It's, what else we got here? It's, where is it compared to that low? It's very, very barely above these lows. Like it's like
229 it is.
Yeah, exactly. 229. Okay, I love number 29, Jesse Barfield.
Yep.
So I think there can be some look for an SSR bounce.
Felix Potvin, you mean?
Felix Potvin?
Yeah, Felix
Okay,
Potvin.
fine. Jesse Barfield.
Maple Leaf goaltender great, Felix Potvin.
But here's what I would say. I think Jesse Barfield is like the second greatest right fielder the Jays have ever had, and the first is Jose Bautista. So Potvin is not a top 3 goalie for the Leafs.
Well, Jose Bautista, the thing about Jose Bautista was defensively. I mean, I know he had a cannon of an arm, but
But Jesse Barfield was
so did Jesse Barfield's arm.
Best arm in the history of baseball.
I mean,
that's it. I mean, all I can do for Lucid, is say SSR bounce maybe 250.
You know, Sean Green got like 50-something home runs or something one year.
Sean Green had that guy was a monster.
No, that guy was roided up, I guess. I mean, there had to have been, right? As soon as he had 1 or 2 years.
It was a beanpole, though.
I know, but
he hit 35 bombs for us.
Yeah, but then he went and hit 50, and then I think he disappeared.
I think he hit 48. I don't think he actually got 50. But he was a 30-30 guy. He balled out for the Dodgers. There's a really good. I read an article. Shoot, it wasn't mental health. It was like he actually had a coach because he got not the yips, but he lost confidence in the midst of his prime.
Right.
And then he had to see like a sports psychologist, and he turned everything around. Had like a 4 home run game, and then balled out the rest of that year. But it just goes to show it was crazy. Like he couldn't figure a way out of the slump. So to the point, you have to always constantly be improving. It's weird. Like you just mentioned Sean Green, and I remembered that story. It was really because I had no clue. You have a lot of athletes that go through that. Like there was a kid in the playoffs that just the other day that got the yips, and then he couldn't throw the ball across the plate. Like it happens, and they got to see a sports psychologist. Traders have had to do it as well. But Jesse Barfield was he was such a great player. But what was amazing about him, when I was a kid, he visited my aunt's church. And you meet him, he's talking to everybody. He's so down to earth. I met him a couple times at Jays Fest. Sometimes you meet your hero as a kid, and they 100% live up to it. The most humble person you'll ever meet, always a smile on his face, always signing autographs, always making sure to give time to people, just completely selfless. It's super, super good guy. But anyways, Lucid, SSR bounce 250 or maybe 230. That's about it for that stock. And it would just be a short sell restricted bounce. I don't think long-term it's looking very good.
Yeah, look, Lucid right here. Lucid made the sticky note today, so congratulations, Lucid. Yeah, you're going to get a rocket ship from 250. So that's the trade. It's going to be along there at 250. I mean, they get the SSR bounce. Hopefully, it's now down 20%. Let's wait to see if there is a flush, when there is a flush at the open, right into the lap of 250. So we'll wait to see what happens. Here it is right here. Those wick bottoms are 248, 246. So you give it 5 cents, you load up down here, you give it 10 cents. You take 255, you take some more at 250, and you give it a go. And then if it breaks it, you just get out, and then you maybe test it again, as Neil mentioned there, at that low of 229. So again, something that I would really, really like to have happen. I'd rather it not break in the pre-market. I'd rather this settle down and just calm down and trade right here, and then it start to fall into our lap at 9:30, 9:31, and then we'll be able to figure that out. So, all right. This is the first time in a while that the Yankees and Dodgers, the 2 biggest payrolls, of course, will meet in the Super Bowl. And that should be. I think it's actually pretty good for baseball, giving all the exposure because
Ohtani versus Judge.
two super teams. But anyways, I sort of always wish for the Royals or the Tigers or even the Indians.
I wanted Cleveland.
Not so much about. I mean, I like the Mets too, but I don't know enough about the Mets.
I love a couple guys.
And those Doc Gooden.
Vientos is a beast.
Yeah, there's. No. I mean, both these teams have amazing players. Okay, we are now live and ready to go back over to Brendan with an interview with Mr. Rahim Alani.
We're rolling, so we can just go. Okay. All right. Rahim Alani, Managing Director of OCI Groups, with us on a Thursday morning once again, joining us from Spain. It's a beautiful morning, I can imagine here, but tell us, Rahim, what's happening in Spain this morning?
Weather, not bad. Surprisingly, you know when they say the rains in Spain? They weren't expecting these kinds of rains on, was it Tuesday night, whatever night it was. 25 millimeters of rain.
Wow.
Torrential downpour. Like it was rain.
It was springtime, I guess, or fall, I guess.
Yeah, and then it was gone. And then the next morning, it was fine, and everyone was walking around. So
well, there you go.
Umbrella sales went through the roof that day.
We should see if there's any umbrella companies that we can talk about. Rahim is at a mining conference over in Seville in Spain and taking time to join us. We appreciate that. Let's touch on a couple of things here. As far as macro is concerned, we've seen oil come off significantly in the past week or so, last few days even. Also seeing metal prices continuing to, the upside. We touched on that a little bit going back to the last time you were on. Give us your thoughts here as far as where we're at overall.
Like we've talked about in the past, the gold trade is, it ties into what's happening short-term, geopolitically, interest rates. It is a catalyst that gets tied to what people are doing in different interest rate economies. So we're seeing what that is doing to the price of gold. On the other side of the ledger, there's rumors that Russian central banks are going to start selling gold. So who knows if that puts downward pressure. This morning, I was watching the news, and Bank of England is, considering rate cuts as well because their CPI numbers came in lower than expected. So, in that interest rate environment, you're going to see the price of gold fluctuate. We were at all-time highs, earlier this month. We're touching them all day. The London bullion exchange market, there's some association. Ironically, had a conference in Miami, but where else would you go to talk about gold? They had a conference in Miami, and they're expecting the price of gold by next October to be 10% higher from where we are currently. So they're still seeing a run up into the 2900s. And these are based on a survey of gold traders. So the price of gold, I think, still keeps going. Again, depending on where you see geopolitical things going. Copper, zinc, that's the conference that's here. It's basically base metals. Everyone kind of just knows where those base metals are going to go. And then the price of oil. You can pick a geopolitical topic to talk about, but the price of oil bifurcates extremely tight to what's happening in and around the world. So those are trades you want to look at if you are on one side or the other.
The gold trade specifically starting to, spill over into some other areas. We talked a little bit yesterday morning on the show, in fact, about the materials sector and the materials group as a whole getting to all-time highs. As you said, gold all-time highs and still climbing. We're starting to see a little bit of a catch-up trade here. Is there an area within the materials sector specifically that you're keeping an eye on?
Just anecdotally, in that survey with the Gold Bullion Association, they're predicting silver at 40, just as an aside. But again, the talk around here, because these are more materials that will be used in all of the construction projects, electric vehicles, et cetera, you're going to need copper, you're going to need zinc, and you're going to need, to an extent, tin. You're going to need lithium. Obviously, all those things come in with. So those trades from a long-term perspective, if you're looking for stocks that correlate in a long-term way, then you can say the price of copper and the price of zinc and the price of tin and the price of lithium 10 years from now are going to be better off than where they are today without any geopolitical risks.
All right, let's touch on a few names here. Canadian Natural Resources, top of your list this morning. I mean, the chart tells a story here, a bit of a pullback in the last, this is a weekly chart everyone's looking at right now. Bit of a pullback last week. We're trying to get back above some significant levels, though. What's the latest here for CNQ?
Just again, thought it was an interesting name on the price of oil moving the way it moved. It traded about 25% higher yesterday on its volume. So that might be something, again, just when you see some of these bigger names that are in the gold space, oil space, whatever commodity you're looking at, if you're looking for that trade, then that's a name where, again, we're getting a 25% increased delta on its volume intraday. there's a way to make some money on that trade in the day for sure.
All right, let's touch on a few gold names here. We've talked about a number of these already in the past, but worth keeping an eye on where we're at. Barrick Gold on a weekly chart getting back to 52-week highs and then some here, trying to break out.
Yeah, and again, a name for that trading side on those large cap names. A Barrick on the day before yesterday traded almost 5 million shares versus its average of 3.5, and ended up being up about 1.3%. But getting that 40% increase on the daily volume is something that you might want to look at again as an outside trader investor.
You had SKE on your list here. I'm not familiar with that one. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Skeena Resources I put up there because just looking through a list of the gold names that it moved. So Skeena on the day was up about 6%, hit $13. And if you look at that chart where they were, call it 5 months ago, they're up 100% off of that. So a nice looking chart if you take a look at the past, call it 6-7 months.
Yeah, quick double there. What area are they in?
They are in gold production. I don't remember the exact jurisdiction, but again, I remember I know the name, and I remember seeing it on one of the most active charts yesterday. So that might be, again, an audience interest piece, given that it moved so quickly in the last couple of days.
Yeah, SKE, Skeena Resources, one to look out for as well. We appreciate Raheem jumping on with us from Seville in Spain, live from a resource conference. Thanks for the time, Raheem, as always.
Anytime, guys.
There we
love
go.
it. Absolutely love it.
I like the umbrella sales comment there coming through. Thank you, Raheem, for taking time out of your day to hop on with us. But he's, we've been talking about that gold. I mean, I'm invested in Barrick Gold, so that's nice to see that. And part of that was because Raheem, it's just, get the dividend in names like that, and then you want to be exposed. I mean, he was saying 2,900 there, 10% upside is what the traders are talking about there for GLD. You can get into GLD, the ETF, if you wanted to. Here's what that
just tagged high.
I was going to say, that's what this looks like right here, the GLD. I mean, $248 now and still going higher. I mean, what a move here, Fabian, from the beginning of the year here on gold. Gold back to, was 186 here. Fabian, come over to the screen just quickly. Yeah, we'll just show this quickly and then we'll get back over there. 185, 186 there coming in for GLD gold. And look where we are now, $248 to the upside. So gained about that 30% or so on the year for gold, which you don't normally see. And tagging, 10% higher than this is where we're expected for that.
If only silver could break out as well. Too manipulated and all that stuff that everyone always talks about. But I think it's going to, and it's getting there as well. So we always talk about buy things that are strong. Uptrend is an uptrend. SLV is poised to break out probably in the next couple of weeks or so, but it's gold that has been leading the charge. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No questions asked. Every time I look up at TSM, it's like, are you kidding me? Like, that stock is going to be lifting a lot of tides today. However, I do believe we'll be interested to see if there are any upgrades and downgrades that are raising any ships to the upside as well.
Enphase finally getting an upgrade, guys. It's been on the other side of the upgrades and downgrades board the last couple of times. Guggenheim giving them the nod today, up about 2/3 of Constellation Energy as well. Good look as we continue to watch that AI energy data center play. Constellation Energy, one of the key players there as well. Illumina and Gilead both getting the nod from HSBC and Bernstein respectively. On the other side, with respect to some cybersecurity names, Fortinet getting a bit of a downgrade today, 2 2/3 in the negative. Chevron was flat, essentially. It wasn't a downgrade. It was a price target decrease there by BofA Securities. And Kinder Morgan reported yesterday in the aftermarket down 1 2/3, and Okta getting a bit of a downgrade today from Needham, guys.
Just quickly, guys, Worksport on watch here this morning as well. Shout out to our friends over at Worksport, sponsor of the show. We're going to have the CEO on actually later this afternoon, 2:45 p.m. this afternoon. Make sure you're with us. The CEO of Worksport going to jump in, announcing some strategic changes and cost-cutting measures that will save them up to $2 million plus in projected savings. So strengthening their financial stability for Worksport. So WKSP on a weekly chart, actually looking pretty good here, back above 50 cents. Nice double bottom potentially forming here for Worksport, guys.
I would just say, hey, what's up, Randy? How's it going? Randy and Neil getting haircuts. I guess I got to get one. Oh, the double Randy. Double Randy. Thank you for the bananas there, Randy. I don't know. Randy has less hair, dude. Come on, it's not even close. Probably me. I probably win. I was just saying to Neil, because he wasn't here yesterday, check out this with Firefly. As we've been talking about them on our program for a minute, and they come up with Bright Minds yesterday, and it goes from 310 all the way to 780 or 765 there as a high. So pay attention to some of these plays, and we'll see what winds up happening. Oh, Randy, where are you going, man? I'm not done yet. Did you see Lucid, by the way? Another offering there for Lucid. Lucid all the way back down now down here into 250. Another horrible situation here for Lucid as the Saudis dumping more and more. We'll have to figure out what's going to happen here. The offering hitting. They need more cash to operate. Have you been hearing anything at all about Lucid?
Not a lot, except they're cash pile. They're burning through it.
Right.
And Rivian has hatched a plan to stop their cash burn, and I have not seen one from Lucid. So it's a bit, you can throw money at the fire all you want, but you got to put the fire out at some point.
Yeah.
And
we'll have to wait to see.
I don't know. Well, how long are they going to throw money at this?
I don't see any Lucid.
Until they run out.
Well,
they'll never run out.
But
they'll never run out.
How many Lucids do you see on the road?
There's unlimited oil in the ground, my guys.
Have you seen one on the road yet?
Fair point.
I have, but not as much
I have
as
not
Rivian's.
seen one. I've seen Rivian on the road.
Saw Rivian yesterday.
Polestar all over the place.
Yeah, so
Rivians are all over the place now.
They're
I actually like Rivian.
There's a bit of a story there that I think they need to address, but.
When I saw that Lucid Air, it was like $250,000 or something crazy like that. I mean, must have been one of the first.
Now they have a base model that's more competitive price-wise.
But the Dream, I think it was. Is that one of their upper?
Whole whack of different models, but
yeah.
The production issues and supply issues are lingering. Let's put it that way.
Not good.
No.
All right.
That's okay. It's down 20%.
What's up, Tom Brooks?
Probably bounce.
Yeah.
Might be a bounce today. That's why I'm looking for a bounce. Yeah, I was at that game. 6-3. Oh, that was 6-2, sorry. Yeah, it was a great game there. That McMahon got 2 goals. Austin Matthews got off the schneid there. Yeah, it was a great game.
Once he gets going, it's over.
Yeah, it's over. I think he'll win the, Rocket Richard again.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Most goals. He only has 1, though, through 4 games.
I think, he'll get there. Yeah.
He'll get going. I just got one, but I'll take another.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Randy. All right, let's go talk some stock.
Just seeing this as well. MBIN spiked to the downside here. There's a short report out on this. I don't even know what this is, but just a heads up. Not a lot of volume behind this, but MBIN down 6% here. NING Research. NING Research.
Is that the company chiming in?
I've never heard about that.
No,
but anyways, MBIN. All right, let's touch on the overall market here, and then we'll get into what is moving around.
All right, guys, we closed out yesterday at 58.86, so still below that 5,900 point area, but we're right there right now, and we're above the highs that we put in on the 14th and the 13th, respectively. 59.19, that's the overnight high, so it's a blue sky setup. If we continue here, let's see if we can actually use 5,900 this time as support.
As always, if you have not done so, make sure you jump down to the description of this video right now. There's a link waiting for you there that will get you to the watch list. All you need is your email address. Has everything you need to know in one nice, neat package sent right to your inbox every single day. And the best part, it is FREE free. So jump down and do that today if you haven't. Nvidia. Weekly chart looks incredible on this. We're right here, right now, trying to test that high. On the back of this, TSMC with their earnings absolutely crushing, blowing away expectations. AI demand, AI, and more AI.
Yeah, I'm not surprised there, Brendo. I just want to show this, Fabian. This is the market cap right here of Taiwan, $915 billion as we work our way into that $1 trillion valuation. Let me tell you how they did. A 54% increase in net profit for Q3 year over year on the quarter. Net income reached $10.1 billion. That's take-home money, guys. Revenue grew by 36% to $23.5 billion, and they're forecasting, Brendo, growth of 13% on the quarter and 35% year over year for Q4. So I don't see a whole lot bad with this one. And by the way, they're really kind of shifting away from just being a Taiwan-based company. They're opening up a plant in Arizona and Japan. because we're always concerned about their exposure to Taiwan.
Yeah, key, definitely. 3.1% here, meanwhile, guys, for the big one, Nvidia, leading the way again.
Yes, sir. I mean, TSM is through, like, it already broke out its highs. Would have been nice if you could, you know, take a double top at 195, but that's just not going to happen because it's already gone. It's above $200 as well. So, you know, you're unlikely to fill in the gap. I would think like the 200 and the 202 would be places to look for any dip buys, which I could see some profit taking. Nvidia, and it was who was asking in the chat just now about the size on 140. I'd have to double check. But either way, I don't see a lot of size on the 140 level, but it's already broken this several times in the pre-market. So it's not that big of a deal. It's a nice round number, and it's early. There's only about 50,000 shares on the offer, and it's, like I said, it's really early. You're gapped up. The all-time high is 140.76. So I think that's going to come into play. Obviously, you know, if we don't get a break of that all-time high, ideally 139 I like for a dip. And if it doesn't hold 139, I think you just got to be very, very patient. If we don't hold 139 on the way back in on Nvidia, then patience finding a dip buy. Don't want to catch it on the front end. But I'm only really looking long today on these. You know, I think we get that all-time high today. Just off the open, I'd be looking for that 139 long, no doubt about it. You know, TSM, rising tide, lifting some ships here. If you can't make a fresh all-time high on Nvidia after the quarter that TSM put up on the AI demand that they're indicating, then when are you going to do it?
Yeah, I mean, ASML tried to throw some cold water on everything, and how long did that last for? That lasted for about 3 hours. I mean, it's still affecting stocks like AMD and whatnot, but not the king. And we talked about Nvidia being that. I mean, we were trading this name yesterday. We trade this name every damn day, and we're going to do it again here today, and with more shares and more excited to do it. Like right now, you're breaking right here 140.08. The all-time high is 140.76, I think. Right here. Oh wow, that's good. That's a good one. 140.76 right here. 140.76 just happened a couple of days after the split. We went up to that high right there, and it looks like that will get taken out today. And I sort of promised this would happen last week, but it's happening this week and it's happening today. We got close enough to that last week there at 140, but we did not breach it. We talked about the amount of stock for sale at those levels, and now it is through it. So stock for sale be damned. They're all gone now. So there it goes through 140, and it's not going to stop. So it's just a matter. You know what? I mean, I'm just going to buy some shares right now. Because there we go. So we're long Nvidia. Congratulations to me. And we're just going to wait to see what winds up happening now. Again, just a pre-market position, but I don't know if there's going to be a better trade idea for me today. So if we lose everything on Nvidia, then so be it. But we're going to wait for pullbacks, of course. I mean, if it comes down into VWAP, which is 139.50, I think that's a no-brainer long down there. You got to try something. I mean, what are we here to do? So I like the stock. We play breakouts. It's right there. It's on the sticky note. I mean, we'll take it right now. I mean, light position. If it flushes, it flushes. We want to be averaged into this name anyways. Remember, the imbalances are going to come out on this thing, so that's going to be something that will affect it. So I just want to be in this name for right now, see what winds up happening. All right, so that's just a quick one. Just again, we have like maybe 10% of the shares that we want to take. AMD, we said that wasn't reacting as well, but that's because I hadn't looked at it in a half hour. Well, right now, it was down at 159. Now we've broken through 160, and it looks like it wants to touch up to 161. But as you can see, this is what I mean by the difference of stocks here. The all-time high for AMD needs to get back into this 210, 215 area to look at that. And I think we can get there for sure. I mean, if this is true from TSM and we get big reports coming through from AMD, and then you're going to get that big one from Nvidia. Remember what Micron showed us a couple weeks ago? That was it. Yeah, you brought this name to our attention yesterday, actually, right? Like Nvidia is already 10 cents in the money, and we just punched it in there. Micron, what a nice move there. Here's their earnings, by the way, right there at $95. Blasted up to 111, 115 is right where we are now. Actually, Randy, good thing you brought this name up to my attention yesterday. We didn't trade it. It's a good thing it's in our mind today because this is looking like get this garbage out of here for the last couple months and see about some blue skies ahead as we outtake right now this 110, 112 area and start to blast a little bit higher. I think Micron probably lands somewhere in the 125, 130 area by late next week. So good moves up there for Micron. Good look. All right, Uber and Expedia. Let's go find out what that news is all about.
Downside this morning, we'll touch on the chart here in a second, but here's a couple of things to know. Yeah, it was the Financial Times that was first to report this, but Uber apparently exploring a takeover bid for Expedia. There's also this, Daiwa Capital with a downgrade to neutral from outperform for Uber. That was the move on the Expedia note. We were lower initially this morning, but we're already back above 80 here.
Yeah, we see this often. One goes up, the other goes down on the news. So here's the deal. Apparently, there are not any ongoing discussions right now between the two companies, and no formal offer has been made. Apparently, the potential interest by Uber stems from the opportunity to create a super app. They want rides, deliveries, and now travel bookings if they're able to acquire Expedia. Apparently, Expedia's recent improvements, Brendo, under the new CEO, Ariane Gorin, make it an attractive acquisition target. So we'll have to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's trading, but I mean, I wouldn't call it terribly active here, guys, so far this morning.
Yeah, well, I mean, could we call it a super app? I don't know. If you don't have messaging and you don't have, like, I don't know. When Amazon buys somebody to create a super app, or Meta buys somebody, I mean, Meta's already got it going on. But that said, because there's the lack of specificity here, or any kind of more than just a rumor, I don't necessarily want to overreact to this. Yeah, sure, Expedia is breaking out and on no volume, but Uber, on the other hand, Uber gets dumped on this news right back into prior highs, down a couple of percentage points. A stock that was it just made a fresh high. So there was lots of exuberance after the, I guess, cyber taxi event, underwhelmed, and Tesla went down, Uber went up and broke those highs. And now it's going to fill in the gap on this speculation that they might make a pricey acquisition. Okay, well, if there's nothing firm, then I would look to buy off of the 78 level. Obviously, it's already bouncing here, so when we sat down, it seemed like a much better area. You get 2 days of consolidation and a gap away from that price. Sure, long in front of 78 on Uber. Unless they come out saying, okay, we're doing this, and this is how much we're paying, and this is the premium, and it's all in cash or in stock or whatever. If that doesn't happen in the next couple of days, then I want to be buying this dip on Uber at the 78 level. If there is a deal and the market doesn't like it, fair enough. But until I'm convinced that they're actually going to do this, I think you look to buy the dip here on Uber.
Yeah, I mean, I have Uber written down here on the sticky note as well today. I like the $80 mark. I mean, 80 was something that I was actually thinking, we talked about this, I wanted to get back into the name. And it's just that, see this gap right there? We gapped up into that. I mean, Neil just pulled out the chart as well on that news, and we took out this $82. So I was thinking, like, when we were up here at 86, 87, if you faded back somewhere into this area, probably worth a buy. And you're actually getting it. I mean, 78, I think, would be a great opportunity to buy it. I mean, against the rising 50-period moving average. I liked uranium, guys, at $25. We talked about SMR. We talked about some of these other plays that we've recently been put ourselves into, right? We've been buying Nvidia on dips and things like that. This URA down here at 25, that's singing now up to 33. That was a great trade there. We like XBI as well at some of these levels. So, I mean, we're already into this one at 99, but it doesn't matter, whatever. This is a longer term play. But again, basing out here and then going on a rising 50 period. So I think that at some point there is an opportunity to buy a name like Uber, and I think that point it might be now to have a starter position. I don't know if it's worth layering into this. I'm not sure I like the idea of them buying Expedia, but hey, I mean, if they could do it in all stock, or I don't know what that, we could figure out the valuation of Expedia. I mean, how much of a premium do you need on that? We can actually, hold on a second here. What time is it?
I mean, it's also at fresh highs, which is not usually.
What is Expedia?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
It's 20 billion.
Right, that's what I was looking at right here. So here it is right now. Expedia. So yeah, right now their PE right here, 9 only. So that's not bad. Current PE 27, forward PE 9 and change. Nice revenue there. They even have cash on hand, 6 billion. So yeah, it's not a horrible situation here for Uber and Expedia to get together. As you mentioned, they're 20 billion. So we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening here with this. But I like Uber on pullbacks in this situation. So,
before we go back,
buy some Uber.
Bad news for Affirm here. Apple expands payment options with iOS 18, offering installment loans. Although it says from Affirm, along with Klarna's flexible payment options at checkout. So basically, Yeah, they're expanding options, but you know, they're still Affirm in the U.S., Monzo Flex in the U.K., and Klarna as well. And so they're also looking to extend future plans to other countries, including Singapore, Spain, Canada, Australia. But yeah, there's a big spike to the downside on that on Affirm, with Apple expanding some of their buy now, pay later options. Still using Affirm, but obviously if they're using a competitor's, not going to be great for Affirm. Down 2 points, but it did drop $3 and is now rebounding halfway. So that's the volume spike there. Yikes.
Just quickly, we were talking, Sharif and I were talking about all-time highs. We are just over 1% away here. This is the Qs, but we're just over 1% away here now from this on that last move. For the overall market, right at day highs right now, 1.16%. So continuing this ongoing march to the upside for tech specifically. Let's talk about these Meta employees that are buying clothes with food credits.
Not a good look, Brendo. Meta fired 24, I never want to laugh about this, but Meta did fire 24 employees in Los Angeles for allegedly misusing meal credits to buy other things. That's not really the story. The story is that they're implementing layoffs. Specifically, they're implementing them in the WhatsApp, Instagram, and the Reality Labs group. That's the one that is basically trying to build VR or AR, whatever you want to call it. The exact number of jobs have not been disclosed yet, Brendo, so we'll keep you guys updated.
Yeah, there's a few on that. There's a few positive analyst notes on this as well. Mizuho was one of those maintaining and outperform Cantor Fitzgerald as well after the close yesterday with another one. Just about to take out pre-market highs here, guys, for Meta.
Yeah, I actually prefer, out of the Mag 7 names that aren't chip related, I kind of liked Apple today off that 33 level, but it's not a dissimilar story, I suppose, with Meta here at 580. So you spent a day essentially underneath that support level, same bottom, same top at 600, and then it's like, oh, this didn't happen. Who cares? We're just going to gap back above. Cost cutting, while you never want to see anybody lose their job. Ultimately, they get more trim, and they're already a good valuation. It doesn't bode poorly for the company at all. So 580 looks like a solid over-under here, just resistance into support. It's now back over, so you got to be bullish above there. I just happen to like the 223 on Apple in a similar way here. I think it gives you, Apple's going to give you a couple of shots, I feel like. So you had the same thing with 1 day underneath that key previous resistance level, and then we're gapping right back above it. If you hold 233, looking for longs off 233 to play back into some of those highs. If you lose 220, 233, you have some levels down here, at least that still work. Previous close at 32, and then obviously support from yesterday. If absolute disaster strikes, you got the 230 level. So yeah, 233 over under for me on Apple. Meta looks strong. I mean, Meta looks good. I have nothing against, taking a look at that 580 level. I just prefer to trade Apple.
Yeah, I don't even have Meta written down. I have Apple written down too. I like the 234 break. We'll obviously like that 233. Will be all over Apple today, but the topic is Meta. And I mean, you're up 1%. It's moving with the market. You're almost better to trade the futures maybe, but again, it's not that it's a spread name. It's just, it's pretty choppy right here. I think the year of the efficiency, we've already talked, okay. I mean, look at this. We're 15 cents in as Nvidia's back at highs. Right now and still going higher. So this is what I mean. As day traders, we have to pick our poison, right? I think this breaks 601. I mean, I think this keeps going. You're one upgrade away from waking up one morning and this is over $600. It's not going to take a big move to get there at all. This is a $585 name. Wait till Meta announces a split. And then this is the thing. This is why the rich keep getting richer and why your money needs to be in the market. I mean, when this stock splits, it's going to go nuts again. And I already think it's already right here, right now. We have a lot of tailwinds on this name, right? I mean, we talked about the messaging system with WhatsApp. The amount of cash that these guys have on hand. Every single thing that that Meta seems to touch. I mean, those glasses, that could be the next big thing, right? And if it is, then what, right? It's just another revenue stream to layer on top. And then they can somehow integrate those glasses with Reels and with whatever else they're using, right? And it's just one of those things. They don't have. I mean, when's the last time, and someone's probably going to say yesterday, that we heard the FTC or DOJ or something. Seems like they're attacking other names right now. They're worried about the chip names. They're obviously worried about Google for some reason. Too big, I guess. So I don't know. They'll probably come and point the gun at Meta at some point, but right now it's not there. So we'll wait to see what happens now as the imbalances are still 10 minutes away. You know, Meta could go for a run here. NASDAQ up 1.13%.
In the other direction, Lucid still right at day lows. We're trying to bounce right now around this 270, but still 18% to the downside here. Huge, massive offering coming through. More fundraising to the tune of 1.67 billion after the close. This was announced yesterday for Lucid.
Yeah, so here's the deal, guys. They're looking to offer about $262.5 million of common shares to the public. B of A Securities going to be the sole underwriter for that offering. The majority stakeholder as well, Ayer, they're going to separately purchase $374 million in a private placement concurrent with that offering. But Brendo, like I mentioned at the top of the show, in August, Lucid got $1.5 billion from the Saudi Public Investment Fund, yet their cash and cash equivalents on hand seem to continually be decreasing.
The story continues here, guys. We're not at all-time lows. I almost said highs. All-time lows yet, but right around the corner still.
Yeah, well, yet's the key. You could still get there, although, you know, when a stock is down like this much, and we've said this before, when there's an offering specifically, you tend to have some kind of a reasonable bottom in the next couple of days, especially with a company like Lucid. 28% short float. The all-time low is $2.29, and then there's a higher low on the daily at the 250 level. So when looking for something that's over 10% down, short sell restricted bounce, you want ideally something that's heavily traded. So this is going to do a ton of volume. Check. B, short flow helps. Check. And then C, is there a level to trade off of? Has support in the daily at 250. So that gives you something out in front for that kind of a play. That said, every 10 cents is going to be significant and probably have size on this stock. And the current low is at 260. So it's either we false break the low and there's just nowhere to go if you don't get below the 260 level, or you get to 250 and then look for the SSR bounce or short sell restricted bounce on Lucid. It's too far down to make me like shorting it here. If it fills in a big portion of this gap and all of a sudden we're out and about above $3 into like teens and quarters, yeah, different story. I think at that point I'd start looking for some shorts on a pop-up. But yeah, this is kind of like the standard SSR bounce play today. And if we did go up to the teens to short, it's actually free locates here at Real Trading if it gets up there.
I had Rivian, but it's not. I was going to look at Rivian at $10, but yeah, Lucid today. You know, it makes today's sticky note. It makes it at 250. So I feel like that's a great trade to try to get that here into it. So if you're looking for some trade ideas, block is changing soon. Okay. All right, let's go into here and just have a quick little look. I don't even know what that meant. All right, so here it is right here. Lucid at 250. Look for a bounce off here at the offering. 52-week low, 229. You could definitely have a look there. I think, you know, with that 30% short float, you could get that SSR bounce. You're now down 20%. We were down almost 20%. It's starting to go back upside a little bit now. But yeah, that 250 held, right? I mean, so we just scroll out, and it looks pretty decent right there. So I feel like if you're going to hold it, you hold it to 240, 245, depending on what your share tolerance is and things like that. You don't really want to get stopped out completely when it breaks, but if you do, you do, and that's just whatever the strategy might be. So we'll wait to see if and when Lucid comes down and fills this area. We do want to buy some down there. So we're going to be bidding, and we are bidding right now, 252-ish. So, you know, if it comes back, we'll get filled, and if not, then we'll watch to see what happens with Lucid, and then maybe take one of these high breaks or something like that. But again, I was just reading our note, which you can get on the watch list. Go and link in description, get that free watch list right now. This is what it says. While the company has faced challenges with higher costs, that's not good, slower than expected EV demand, you're in the EV business, and marketing issues. So, all right, so marketing is a problem, there's no demand, and we have higher costs.
Yeah, that's not good.
So, I mean, you know, we'll wait for another little positive spin on this, but right now, yeah, Lucid down 18%. And it seems like, you know, maybe going a little lower here. So we'll see what happens off the open. 30 million shares already.
All right, another day, another batch of small cap runners to touch on here. I was just counting up 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll call it right now, above that triple-digit percentage number again so far this morning. This is top of the list right now, this one. A couple things to note. There was a business update in general where they talked a little bit about the financials and where they're at. They also signed this letter of intent to acquire a privately held company in the wholesale gifts business, Sharif. So 220% here for NIXX. I've never heard of this company before. It's worth noting, some of the ones we were discussing here yesterday, I mean, all of them, really. ATNF, VS, AIFF as well, downside. There's drug as well, downside today. So both directions as we saw, Monday to Tuesday as well.
Yeah, I always really try to emphasize this, guys. Don't fall in love with these names. They're intraday trades only. Make sure you're trading them wisely. Here's what I'm looking at right now. Pixie setting up a hell of a bull flag, up 150%. But as Brendo mentioned, there are several triple-digit names. NIXX, STAF, Pixie's one of them, and I'm also looking at BREA, basically knocking on the door of that 100% move. This one started moving yesterday in the aftermarket, guys, right when the halt parameter shut off at 4. Let's keep this one on watch.
It's there for sure. At BREA, the volume is pretty solid. The other thing about, we'll just call it BREA, because why not? The other thing about that one is it does have that dollar level looming, although it wasn't significant because it gapped away from a penny stock. But yeah, keep that one on watch because it's trending back down in. Sometimes you get a decent bounce off the $1 level as that gets supported. So yeah, it was already double this in the aftermarket. And so the 98% is a little bit tricky in terms of thinking, oh yeah, it's up 98%. Well, actually it's down from overnight highs and down since the pre-market. So I think you let this one settle down, see if you can get that $1 level. There weren't anything, like Sean was mentioning, crazy here on the imbalance locator, but because we got some time, it allows us to go over a couple stocks that we didn't get a chance to talk to there on the old rundown. One of them, Tesla, they don't have Lucid's problems, but then again, Tesla is going to be Tesla. I feel as if Tesla's been doing the same song and dance for a couple of days now. Let me go to the 15-minute here on Tesla. It feels like the same song and dance, but you've been gliding slowly higher ever since that double bottom. Back-to-back SSR bounces off of the 14 level, and it's been higher lows ever since on Tesla. Now, it hasn't done anything crazy, like there hasn't been a breakout, but that 225 still looms. It's like, okay, every day, 225 on that gap fill, resistance, break 50s, 225.50, look for long. It's not close enough, nor is there a catalyst, I don't think, to necessarily get it there today. But if we do see it, I still like that level. Since the first bounce, 225 was resistance. Sorry, the first day, it was 225 resistance. I think nothing has changed on Tesla. It's just gliding slowly, and maybe it'll catch everybody off guard today. The only problem, I think, if it happens tomorrow is that I don't like those types, like a 25 break I don't love on a Friday because of options, but certainly today I think it would still be in play and looking pretty good there for Tesla. Only up 0.5 point, but you can see it just gliding higher. Looks like it wants to try to fill in that gap if it can take 225.
A bunch of names starting to really go last couple of days. I mean, that's why we have the small caps on the board here. I mean, one of them would be DJT, trying to get back up through that 32 level. We identified that yesterday on the sticky note as, I mean, I have the sticky note right here. It says 32 short DJT. So, I mean, that was pretty good, and we can try to do that again today. I'm not so sure about it, though, because today we're actually starting up here. In the past, we've started lower. So to get to 32 is still a huge move. You know, today you're actually starting at these levels. So I would actually almost think this could be a breakout into the long. I mean, here on DJT, you're looking to see about a break. Like if we break 32, then I think you can get to 33, and then 34 would be real nice. Maybe a halt if it breaks through there. Halting is almost impossible to predict. So we'll wait on that one. One that's running right now, TVGN. I'm just seeing this one. Semper Paratus Acquisition Corp. No, Tivogen. Oh, I think it's because we didn't change it. It's Tivogen Bio Holdings. So I guess it maybe already has been acquired or something's already happened. But there goes TVGN right now over the last couple of days, really extending out. And I don't want to forget about this one, up 58%, doing 18 million shares and trying to go right now as well. TVGN. Yesterday we were all over QNRX. That was another name yesterday. Okay, back down to 70 cents, kind of where we started from yesterday. I'm not really seeing, I mean, we talked about, we mentioned a little bit about that Pixie name as well, starting to make some moves. Shift Pixie. We've seen this name go before. Yep. PIXY. Again, look at this. What in the, oh yeah, I guess that was reverse split. Yeah, so There it is right here on the E-signal charting. We talked about E-signal there. And again, you can mark down, we had just recently split right there on 1013. So some actionable events there for Shift Pixie as that's starting to go upside. Remember, whenever you're doing these kind of plays, and we've just recently split, you guys know the opinion on that one. Let's make Lucid great again, says Tass H.
Why? You can try. There's a few other.
It might be a great stock to trade. Let's put it out.
Oh, to trade look, to trade, there's nothing wrong with DJT as a trading vehicle. I think for all of these, that's going to be true. Gevo in here also moving, but like be careful with the ones that are kind of already in the give back, right? So Gevo gapped up again. It's been on an absolute tear, just on the daily. Like this was a 60-cent stock like a month ago, right? So just be careful with this. It seems like it was just attempting to lose the bid through 3 and then immediately regained it. If you lose the 3 bid, you go 10, 15% down really easily there.
Oh gosh.
Imbalances might have just come. Okay, so Lucid's a buy of 1 million. Nvidia is a sell of 600,000. Enbridge, who cares?
Lucid just ripped up there.
TSM is a bid of buy, sorry, of 400,000.
Nvidia must be a sell, no?
No, Nvidia is a sell of 600,000.
on the bid there.
TSM bid and Nvidia to the sell side, but Lucid 1 million. Keep in mind, Lucid's done 33 million shares already in the pre-market. That's not like a million shares. Don't get me wrong, it spiked up a few pennies, but a million shares is doing nothing to Lucid today. Lucid's going to do hundreds of millions of shares.
That was a nice spike up,
easily. Though. No, it is. Definitely, it's a nice spike up. It might make it more difficult to see a dip down into 250 the further away Lucid does get here from that. Yeah, it was a decent spike. Going to do a ton of volume in here today for sure. Nvidia, this might give it a chance to get that 39 at those pre-market lows. See if we can't snag that on the open. But TSM's a buy, so I'm not terribly concerned about it. I mean, TSM's the one leading everybody. If they're a buy and balance, I think the Nvidia likely pairs off.
Yeah, So we're in Nvidia here. I mean, we got filled there at 50. We told you we were bidding VWAP there, so we actually get filled at 139.55, giving us this average price. So we're taking a little bit out right now, just because, like, again, I want to look at this with rose-colored glasses, and I am, but it's just a matter of, like, you know, as Neil mentioned there, we do have other ideas here. And we even wrote down there that this thing could fall into the lap at 138. So that is definitely a possibility. There goes Lucid on that move up. It's not going to look like anything on the chart, but it still was 4 or 5 cents. So that's nice. And then Apple with the sell side imbalance there. Yes. Wow. Okay. Apple downside. So I had written down on here as well. 231 for Apple. It's at 233. So it's not the end of the world right now for Apple. So I think this is a good pickup opportunity here. Apple should be with the market right? I mean, I think that Apple has some of the best tailwinds right now. And there it is right there. 230 would be the very, very bottom. I mean, I think if you got to that, then wow, we would definitely like that. If it's your first time here, don't make it your last. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. Okay, so there it goes. Nvidia now dropping back in again into that VWAP position. So again, you know, we were getting some out there. So we'll hold we still have about 70% of what we had. So not really making any money, just kind of flat right now on this, as now it's pushing back down in. We're long now at 65s. Remember, we already took some out, so this is a legitimate average price right here. And there's the flush into 139 a little bit now. So we'll take a little bit more here, but again,
balance is gone.
Balance is gone. It seems like
I don't see it anymore.
Yeah, it must have. It has to still be there, because why else did it flush? Right there, pretty good. But anyways, at the end of the day, we're going to have to wait to see. This is going to be a wild ride, right? We have TSM coming through today as well on their earnings. There's Enbridge with the sell. Right, we're going to close this off. So there it is. Yeah, Nvidia still 300 there to sell. So we'll wait to see what winds up happening now with NVDA. But so far, so good. All right, there's TSM up 8 3/4, right, or up 8 1/4. Right now on TSM, looking to break lower as well. So we'll see if there's anything in that name with only a minute and a bit left before open. Those are some names we're looking at. I've got now Apple on the radar. So we're into Nvidia. We'll have Apple on our mind as well here as we get ready to open up this day.
Yeah, Apple bounced off that 233 level pretty nicely. Tesla as well. Tesla didn't have an imbalance, but Tesla's also dropping. It just dropped $1 in the last minute or so as this is all starting to come in. So I'm in Nvidia. I saw it pair off pretty decently there. And we wanted the front of that 139 regardless. So Tesla just went from green to almost red here. So the market is giving a little bit back, but the NASDAQ holding pretty decently up 1%. So it's just a few names that seem like they're coming back into the downside. Tesla among them. You already mentioned Apple, Nvidia a little bit. TSM, which has led the way, is all the way back into VWAP. So worth keeping an eye here. If TSM loses the gap, like if it loses $200, I think we know the chips are going to head to said downside. So buckle up, everybody. It should be a wild ride today, especially with the chips, with Lucid, and with some of the EV names. Don't sleep on all those small cappers that are going. As we got Sharif on the bell, let's get this party started, Sharif, on a Thursday in 4, 3, 2, and you know what to do.
All right, thank you, Sharif. We are now open on this Nvidia semi-everything kind of day right now. And this is what we talk about. You know, there goes Nvidia down through or approaching 139. I should not say through 139. We are not through 139. Apple 232.50 or so. TSM is flying. There goes Apple, or there goes, Apple. There goes Nvidia. We're long at 62s here on a decent position. So hopefully we can get some more upside here and just let this thing run for the rest of the day and then just say hallelujah when this thing finally breaks through 140. Remember, yesterday we took some 140 breaks and it did not work, I believe. Was that 140? I don't remember what it was even yesterday, but we'll take it again. So here it is, man. We are now starting to go, all right, we're back, baby. The People's Trader is in this name, and we are in this name pretty good. Apple's the one falling down. Watch out for a 140 break. There's a big trade right there for you on Nvidia. Boom, right there, out 80s and 90s there. So we'll take that trade over and over and over again. Apple right now just falling back in as well. So that just touched 232. Damn it. That's the level that we liked. But again, we don't need to get too carried away. I told myself we wouldn't necessarily do that here today. So we'll wait to see what happens now. We'll wait for Nvidia. We'll wait for Apple.
Yeah, Nvidia's looking good. Apple is not looking good. But Lucid's also, Lucid's kind of gone here. So look, you can want a dip and a rip, but Lucid only to the upside. It's starting to squeeze a little bit. And if there's any chance on a pullback, we'll have to go over to see if VWAP can hold or something along those lines there for Lucid. But it might get to $3 before we get any chance at a reasonable dip buy. Nvidia's at the 140 level. Same size that was there in the pre-market. Check that. Never mind, that was 94. There's actual size there at 140 now. About 1 million or 2 million shares on the offer at the 140 level. I just took a leg out in front of the 140, but they're starting to churn. They'll get through that 2 million like a hot knife through butter. It's already done 20 million shares in volume as we speak. Want to let Apple settle down before we go in the dip buy. And bye-bye Tesla. Tesla's red. Tesla's through 220 as it just continues to go lower.
Yeah, that's why I'm not really looking too much at Tesla. We're just getting some out here at the top at 140. If it breaks it, we're going longer, so we might as well get out of some of the shares that we have. I mean, look, I'm just getting more out. There we go. 95, 96s, 97s. Here we go. It's going to get higher. No, so that's fine. So we've dumped now about a third of our position here, looking to add that third back on a 50 break. I mean, on a 50 break, on a 140 break. So here it goes. I'm going to offer again some more now at 98 in case it does come back up there, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with playing the reversion into this trade. Because just like I'm looking long breaking there, there's going to be people that have been looking short. There we go, take another out at 88. There's going to be people that are looking short at the same level. So Nvidia will probably go through in just a matter of time. But we just got out of a little bit more. So we're out of just over a third of that. Is Taiwan Semi really pushing down now? So that could be another indicator right here for us on TSM. But yeah, I might as well stay. There's Apple right here, bounces off 232 basically again, 232.30. So that could be a trade. I'm just going to wait on Nvidia. I mean, we're already in this. We really like what it's doing. And I might as well just sit right here. Lucid, 282 right now, going higher. Uber would be another look, and then I'll throw it back over to Neil. I just want to see what this is doing. So again, I got filled long in the personal account at $80 right off open. I had a order to sit there. We got filled. I just got that notification. So I'm not trading Uber right now, but I am long Uber right here in the personal account off of this 80 level. I like to trade. So we'll see what happens there. And now comes Nvidia back in one more time. So a bunch of outs up there. Pretty happy with those. Looking to reload, yes, but TSM not helping the cause.
No, and you have to watch out for what's going on with TSM. So, I just tried to get not the last leg, but I was going to get another leg out there. Now out of about 80% of the trade on Nvidia, because there goes the 139 level. It's starting to look rather heavy. Uber just lost 80. What the heck? The market's really reversing.
This is a big dump.
Yeah, this is a big dump, and I think TSM might be partly to blame for it. So we just lost the quarters, the 3 quarters. So I'm now out of NVDA. Took some profit in front of the 140. I mean, so close to actually breaking that out. And then look at Tesla's absolutely gone. What is holding up but not the level that I wanted was Uber. Uber's way high. Sean mentioned the 80. I liked it in front of 78, but you're not going to get pre-market prices. It is what it is. That was where it was at like 8 o'clock. So you can forget about that. But
Uber, let's
look
go.
at this stock. It's the only thing that's actually strong. So buy the dip off the previous high. It looks like it's a bit of a trend high. I don't want to be breaking out tops with the market dumping like this. I'd rather be waiting patiently for some dip buys. And I did miss a shot at one of the things that I did want to short today. Intel had bad China news. That was on the watch list. So essentially, national security, blah, blah, blah concerns. And underneath 23, it was already looking to me like a short there, but a pop and fade here on Intel already would have worked for you. I'll look for like a VWAP retracement to see if I can't pick something, I guess, up to go short that name. But I'm going to look for the next spot here on Nvidia. I think if it fills the entire gap, that's one thing. I don't know if we're going to get all the way down into like a 136.37. I'd rather it retake 139 there. And the Apple as well. Like Apple is getting very, very close to completely filling in this gap, getting right into afternoon support at 231 or 230. 230 is an auto zone for me buy. Let's go over, I believe, to the desk.
Guys on Affirm, downside as well. Not a lot of volume behind this, but Apple offering Klarna flexible payment options on Apple Pay. So Affirm getting hit a little bit on that. It would appear, just be aware as well, anyone watching Uber and Expedia, they're discussing it currently, or the potential of something on Uber and Expedia on CNBC right now.
Yeah, so yesterday Neil wasn't here, but our number one trade on the sticky note and the number one trade that Obi also had as well was that Intel short. And I should have looked at it again today, as that was a that was a warning there. Yeah, yesterday was the first day of that story, so that was a good one for it for sure. All right, man, 137.50. I mean, we tried to be patient with Nvidia. We did pretty good. I mean, we got some more shares now, but if you can't get out, you can't get out. And there it goes right now, tanking again. Like sometimes it's like what you think is going to happen is completely the opposite. And that's exactly what's happening here with Nvidia. We sort of sensed that 140 level was something there. You know, we were sitting there talking about it and literally getting some out when that was happening and saying, you know what, we'll just take more if it breaks. We're getting out of 30, 40, 50%, whatever it was up there. And we only wound up getting out of just over a third of that trade. So we're going to average some out right now as we're going to try to stop that bleeding. We said we would try to be a little more patient today with our trading. It doesn't seem like we have done that as we are now long at a level here that I don't mind. But again, like where are we getting out, right? It's going to have to break that 137.50 marker, which is what we were looking for. We almost got stopped out there. So let's take some more out as we come back up to the upside and still make sure we have a decent spot on for when and if we run higher. So Apple right now, we are also long. There it goes. Now we're starting to get going again. We just got stopped out on Apple, but it's Nvidia that's starting to go back up there to the high side now in the money on this trade. What's up, Brendan?
A SoundHound. Something's going up, actually. SoundHound, one of those, 5.3% right now. Just took out 550. They're teaming up with Lancia to bring voice assistant and generative AI features to Lancia cars over in Europe.
Almost at
like
230.
Apple's the problem for me. I was just telling Neil, like I don't know what's going on right here because we just went long at 231 and got out when it broke. We just touched a little bit more long because you guys know we don't get out of everything when that happens. I can't believe we're going to be in the money on Nvidia, and we just talked about that 138 and change spot down there. It seems like that one wants to work for us. 137.50 as we are at 138 change. 138.50 right now, just getting flat on the trade. I mean, we were able to get some out here, which was really nice. It does get as high as 138.70 right there. We do have to make sure that we sort of double check our trades here with TSM because that bounce right there also helping Nvidia go back up to the upside. So we're gonna have to get some good feels. Maybe we should watch SMH or something as a better indicator for what the heck is going on.
I don't know. I'm watching TSM. I feel like
that's perfect.
Like to me, I think like TSM is what SMCI. It's not exactly the same thing, but it's adjacent to it the other day. So I waited for it to make a bottoming candle, and TSM bounced off 202 just now. And obviously, I'll be a little bit late, but I wanted to see confirmation that you're holding pre-market low on TSM before I got back into Nvidia. Yeah, if we lose 138, I got to jump out because I feel like we should be bouncing as 202 does go. Apple, we're just going to have to be patient with. Like it just doesn't seem like it wants to stop yet on Apple. Not. So that 230 level, like if that's the level, I got to wait for it to get down. I'm just going to throw my stop underneath the 138 on Nvidia and then head on over to Apple because Apple is churning for this 230. So it seems like we're going to get there. on Apple, and this is the spot. They said it's an auto long down here off that double barrel support over on Apple. Didn't trade it yesterday, but I mean, I'm imagining it looked pretty gorgeous. Here's a first bounce on Apple above the 50 level. Sometimes if a level's really good, it's not going to want to get there. So that's my take on Apple. The market's holding out overnight support levels at 2,400 on the NASDAQ. I think that can be a good sign for us, especially looking for this little bottoming tail here on AAPL.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We are in the midst of maybe something special, but we need to see what happens here because the market is not really participating yet. If we get that bounce off 20,400, which we're trying to get right here on the futures, then maybe we start to go. We did reload some Nvidia down there. What a great reload that apparently is. I mean, I don't know, man. I've had enough right now as the stress is killing me here. All right, there we go. Let's
TSM's about
go
to
right now. All right, let's go Nvidia. Let's go Apple. Here we go. I love that talk about TSM, Neil. Let's keep that talk going. Right there, bang, there it is. Let's go right now. Sometimes you got to stick with those guns, man. Here we go. Nice move upside right now with Nvidia starting to go. Let's go, baby. Nice trade. Now we're up. I mean, again, we layered into this one, man. You don't see any outs on that one. We'll see what winds up happening, though, with it. Apple's the one that's not going. So we'll have to be very, very careful with AAPL right now. As we get some more out as it breaks above 231, we'll wait to see if that keeps on going. But right now, Apple and Nvidia got going a little bit there. Oh, man, like that, Nvidia just went to the 200 period. Look at those outs there at 139. Let's see if we can keep going, man. I mean, either one of these ones would be really nice, but if the futures don't go, then I'm not getting either one.
There goes Apple.
Yes, sir.
Apple just broke 231 right through the quarter mark as we speak. Actually, check that. It's not through the quarter mark. So we got it back through that 50 level, but it can't, there we go. Now it just broke the quarters.
Yes,
Love to see it take 231 and a half, 232. It closed at 231.78, so 232 might turn into a bit of a resistance level here on Apple. And then that 33 is an obvious resistance, but TSM is very close to taking out these highs. Whoops, New York stock. Taking out these highs. We got back to the 205 level. If this makes a fresh high, everything is going to fly as far as I'm concerned.
Let's go, Neil.
So both these, Apple and Nvidia, going higher. Oh, missed opportunity in Uber. Shoot.
Oh, baby. Tell me Uber's at $81 or $82.
Well, it just bounced off VWAP and is about to break the high of the day. So it's about to go through that 81 as we speak.
Let's
so Uber
go.
flying as well. Market coming back in after that dip. Let's see how far they can rip.
Boy, oh boy. Wow. Yes, sir. Thank you, Neil, for all of that, man. That Apple trade, wow. Did that ever get going off of that level, baby? A couple more outs there into the 30s. Let's go Apple. I mean, I don't know. The problem is the market's still underneath VWAP. Like, we're getting all excited and doing all this. I mean, it's a great move up. I mean, don't get me wrong here, but we need to get a little bit more excited here in the market, not in ourselves. But there it goes, nicely done. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This Apple trade is starting to get to something now. We did get stopped out, right? When that broke 230.50 or 231 there. That was a level that we wanted to get out at if there was going to be a problem. But right now, man, back-to-back jacks here. Wow, here we go. This is really starting to make a day out of itself here. Nvidia, let's just keep on climbing. Do we even need to bother to get any more out? Well, we will get some more out here if it does come back up one more time into, well, sorry, that's Apple still. Apple's the one ripping. But there's Nvidia. I'm going to get another piece out. I was going to say 139. Well, there it comes. We take another piece out right there as it's continuously going higher and higher and higher. Wow, boy, oh boy, have we absorbed that early hit on both of these names and brought them right back to life right now as Apple and Nvidia starting to, wow. Neil, this Apple trade has been, I don't know, but I was loaded up down there on both of these trades. So the fact that they're both going right now are huge windfalls here. So nicely done there on Nvidia, trying to hold that bottom. Wow, that was a heart attack waiting to happen, but we did not have one. And instead, we are reaping the benefits of what's happening right now on these two names. Congratulations, everybody.
Yeah, the market's trying to go to the upside, so I'm going to hit that one and hopefully not jinx it here. So I love what's happening, but just a couple of things. Apple went right to the previous close, 231.78, and then checked up a little bit. So there's a seller at like 74, 75. I didn't get a look at it, whatever. I sold some at 70s. I think the next stop is VWAP. There was a nice little curl right at that 230.5. It didn't quite get to that 230 level that we liked, but sometimes the best levels, it's not going to trade all the way to it. Nvidia, if it doesn't break VWAP, TSM just ticked the high of the day. The pre-market high. and just made a attempt of the break of the high. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a little bit weird to me that Nvidia doesn't want to get through VWAP. So we got that higher low. First we played it off the back through 138. Now we just needed to break 139. I'm not offering anything until we break VWAP, or if we lose VWAP, maybe take something out on the half, because I feel like we should be going at this point. I'm just looking over at some of the other chip names that you might expect to go. AMD under VWAP, still trend down. Micron, this is with TSM breaking highs. Micron's broken out and is above the high. Like, this is the one that's actually going here. So anyone looking at Micron, I think you might have the right one. But I don't think that's going to be lasting for very long if TSM clears out that high. So there goes VWAP. Let's see what happens when we get to that 140 again. Because don't forget.
Oh, please get to 140.
Couple million shares on that 140 level. I'm going to be taking some out in front of the 50s and then again at the 75s. If you like the party and if you like the show, make sure you like the show, everybody. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you want to ask us about any symbols that we're missing, because we're only really trading a couple of them, you got to be a subscriber to be in the chat and discuss with our great community. So make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Hey, heck, even Lucid's starting to go to the upside. Although it never gave you, you never really got that patented dip for the SSR bounce play on Lucid. It's just only been trading higher.
Palantir, Miguel. Yeah, we can look at that. Oh boy, I don't even think we want to look at Nvidia anymore. Keep getting out, and it just keeps on ripping higher. Wow, what a trade that Nvidia was right there, and still continues to be. Hopefully, continues to get through that. If we take that 140 out. You know what? I'm going to cancel. Do we want to buy more shares through 140? We already have a lot.
TSM 207.
We'll buy some more probably. All right. So I don't know what's up with Palantir. It just didn't halt there, did it? What the hell was that? I don't know what's going on there. Maybe there is news about Palantir there, Brendo. I don't know, but that's a little bit of a dip down. I'm not seeing anything on this, but that is a little strange to have that just happen there. And I don't know if that's just like the market's not doing anything, so for this to drop 40 cents, I'm not sure what that is. We'll wait to see if there is news, but it doesn't really look like anything too, like the volume's not picking up here or anything. So a little bit of a dip down there for PLTR, wondering what's up with that for sure. But you know what, guys, honestly, when we're trading, like I'm trading bigger shares, so it's not like I have to be able to be on these stocks and looking at them. So for me, for Apple and Nvidia, I'm just probably going to right now be as honest as I can with everybody and just say, I'm looking at these names. And that's just what it is. So if we can come back up to Apple, we already got some 231.60s. We just take some more out at 40s right there. So we're just slowly trying to look at these names because I can't just let these drift around by looking at others. So there we go. We'll get some more out now as we pop above 139, and we just have to pay attention to this. So right now it's all about Nvidia, baby, and it's all about Apple for me as we trade, XXX amounts of shares on these names. So we'll just continue to watch out for this. We want to trade the best names. We have Nvidia and Apple on here. We also have Lucid and Uber. So those are the other four names. And we had one more, I believe. Apple, Nvidia, Lucid, Donkey Kong
there goes.
as well. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing about Apple, right? Thank you for that, Sharif. I mean, this is what it's all about. Like, this is what it's about. This is what trading is about. Finding the levels, hitting the levels, making that money, and then just having a great time. And I think that's what we're doing. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe. Thank you, Sharif, for that one. Look at Apple now, baby. I mean, if this is not a trade, I mean, this one right there, boom. Huge move to the upside there. Again, patience, right? We talk about that, Neil. Like, you got to be patient and wait for certain levels to fill up. And when they do, you got to strike when that iron is hot. And right now, it's a fuego. Burning my keyboard up right now is Apple with this move higher right now. Good trading today. I hope everyone's having a great time. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, man. We're $1 in the we're $1 in the money on Apple. We're $1.50 in the money right now on Nvidia, and we still got almost all of the shares left on these names, not all of them left, but a decent position left, a third left on each of these, which is great for me. There it is, man. We just get that top tick right there, and this is why we have to watch it. It comes right into the 50 period at 61s, and we take a piece out. We have to do these things when you're trading more shares.
Well, just over here on, I just took the last out I'll take in front of VWAP on Apple. It's now back to green, which is the key. You had to be very, very patient waiting for that one to come back in there. And then when it shot at 230 level, it didn't quite get there, as we said, but there was that last little checkup, and the sellers are now gone at that 3/4 mark. Uber just pulled back into another higher low, so it's got somewhat of a trend line being formed here. It's just kept bouncing off of VWAP. I like 78, but that was in the pre-market, and we're just working off of VWAP here. So if it loses this 79.50, sorry, 79.80, I'm just going to jump out of that one. There is Nike still, which I can't believe I forgot all about Nike. Nike did make that break yesterday. 2 days ago we were talking about, and obviously 83 is not going to come anywhere close. But if it can hold on to VWAP here, Nike trend up, do like it. This was the breakout on the daily that we're going on about on Tuesday. But certainly I want to play a continuation on Nike. Just needs to start leveling off here. Speaking of leveling off, Tesla as well tried to catch a bit of a bid at 20s, and now it caught it at $18. So I want to let this one settle down. Incredibly weak Tesla was. So I just sounded like Yoda for a second there. Tesla was incredibly weak. I'd like that to level off. You know, it wasn't necessarily a part of the plan. I was looking more breakout if it could have gone through 25. Intel, I'm going to back away from just automatically shorting Intel unless it gets to 23. So that's pretty much the update. Only new position is Uber. I've now scalped out of both of Nvidia and Apple and won't take any more shares out unless we recheck the bottom. Nvidia just needs to break out the top in here. So, you know, had to be able to get out of the original long and wait for it to make some kind of a low. Now that it's in, let's let it fly, because TSM hasn't had a red candle since the first one right before the open. That's a Taiwan semi, and this is the reason why the chips are up in the first place. So you had this one right away, and then it's been all green. I think you just hold on to your chip stock, and that's another reason not to just go short on Intel anywhere.
Yeah, man, today, I mean, it's not rocket science to hold on today. I mean, I feel like that's exactly the right reason. I mean, we finally have a good tailwind in front of us here with the chips, right? Because we had to battle that report there from everybody's favorite ASML, and that was a big problem for them. And we haven't even, I'm not even talking about ASML today, right? I mean, no one's even looking over there. So we'll have to wait to see what's going on with ASML. But for me, for now, pretty happy with what we've been doing here in the broader market with the chip names. And that's only been, for me, Nvidia. So we'll wait to see right now as there it comes in, man. Again, another fill just right there into 90s. As here we go, man. We're going to take some more shares. Oh boy, is this a big trade. Nvidia today is not even close. It is your number one P&L name here. And it's like I told you, this is the thing. It matters a lot. Like when you're trading more shares and you're wrong, you get absolutely destroyed. But when you're right, you don't. So that's the thing about all of this. I'm with Neil. Let's just keep trying to wait. But again, I have to piece them out. And this is just there we go. Get some more out there at 98s. We're going to go longer right now. I cannot believe I'm actually talking about this name being now $2 in the money as we get that dip. And you know what, guys? Honestly, thank you, Sharif. This is what it is all about right here. What did we write down where Nvidia was going today? Could go long off 138. 138 is what we wrote down on the sticky note as that little bottom. You know what the bottom was? 138. You wick down to 137.60. These are the bottoms right there as bye-bye 140 now incoming over 1 million and change shares right there right now, baby. Let's get another piece. We're going there. There it is. Now we're more long on Nvidia. We did not actually get filled on that break long, but it doesn't even matter. Let's go Nvidia. This is going to be a good one right now. Let's go through 130, 140. Nvidia's ripping right now. It is your face slapper of the day, boys and girls. This is Nvidia. This is making months. This is making years. This is making everybody's day as Nvidia continues to go higher through that 140. And there we go, baby. It's a monster move. It's NVDA. And boy, oh boy, was it a good one there as we get now $2.50. As there we go, we take out 140. It is a hot dog kind of a day now. As there goes Nvidia straight to the moon, baby. And this is what we wrote down. 138 longs, now 250 in the money on NVDA. So what a big day it was right there. We do all love Jensen. And thank you, Sebastian. I hope I'm making everybody's day. But if you guys are trading and you're long and you followed some of the recommendations, then you right now are cruising to the upside. Well done, man. I mean, that was a trade right there as we continue to go through. Uber right now holding the crown today, or Nvidia holding the crown today for sure. Great trading, guys.
Yeah, so by the way, just a reminder, it just took that all-time high, or 4 cents away from that all-time high. So it's about to take it right now.
Wow.
I scalped the break. I actually got the fill, and when we get a chance to slow down, I'll explain how I got a better price because I was trying something out, not crossing as far. And I got a better price than usual. I actually got all threes on that breakout. But it just got to that all-time high, so scalp out of pretty much most of the trade, actually 75% of the break long, 80% of the break long in front of that all-time high. Because if it fails the all-time high, I think you could see VWAP again. Because obviously an all-time high is going to be a significant level. So Nvidia, like I said, you had to be patient.
Wow.
Try to do things a little bit. A lot of times we'll go buying dips, and I don't like the performance of buying the dips when I look back at it. We waited very patiently for this to make the low, and then it made that higher break. You're still going higher in TSM, so that looks okay. There hasn't been a red candle since the opening one on a 3-minute. I think we're just looking pretty solid here. The problem with Apple is VWAP here at 232. So it just tried to break to get to 232. Then this bit of a reversal candle here on Apple. Now, if I was flat and I was bearish on a stock like this, I would easily be shorting it. So I'm just going to take another leg out on Apple. Oh. This feels like this is a little bit weak, relatively speaking. So just going to get a little bit more out on Apple. Not really doing what I was expecting of it when the market just went back and broke out some highs.
All right, I guess we're going to Brendan, but wow, Nvidia up to 141 right now. We're not? Okay, good. All right, so good move there for Nvidia. I mean, we're just taking more and more out here as we get higher and higher. Like we said, man, this has been obviously a very, very big day here for NVDA. So let's just keep it going. Again, good. I don't know what was up with that trade right there. Where did we get out right there for? 140.35. Okay, right there, 140.85 was our last fill as it keeps on going higher. I'm going to maybe look at some more stock now because we have about 20% left of this, maybe a little bit more right now, or sorry, maybe a little bit less right now on this name. So we'll be able to look at it and see if we're able to catch a little bit of a higher move here for Nvidia right now. But it does look like it is pulling off of that past all-time high, which again, SMR, wow. That's a name that we've really... Well, it's at 19 and change right now. But there's NVIDIA. I just want to show you guys here based on our e-signal charts. Go get that link in description. But there is right there, a high of 140.76. So you know what we have a fill on today in our account? 140.84. We have the new all-time high fill on NVIDIA. So that's going to be pretty good. I'll have to... I'm out. Definitely nice. I'll definitely have to make that trade right there. And here comes NVIDIA pulling back in into VWAP. That would have been a good reload spot down there.
Yeah, so 140, like I got the break on 140, and once it got back underneath the 140, like that's a fail. To me, it's like a failed all-time high break, and then look for the next entry. So holding trend line is going to work, holding 140 is going to work. Whichever one it wants to do, we'll let it make the next move. TSM might put in the first red candle that it's had since that open, and then we'll go over to that in a quick little second because I have to show you guys Uber. Uber bounced the first time off VWAP, but it couldn't get any further than that $80.50. It tried to bounce 80 again, and then it just lost it. So I reloaded it. First trade good, second trade no. So we'll go slightly red on Uber, but I don't think this is over. Like if Uber gets to 78 again, I still like that level. We'll just have to wait patiently for it. Apple's still looking pretty solid, but it couldn't break VWAP in the first place. So it rolled over, but that last dip that you saw, that heavy candle on Nvidia, Apple didn't seem to care too much about it. It's now starting to level off with a higher low. So I like that look, but if you're wondering what happened to other chip names, AMD just made a fresh low of the day here when Nvidia was pulling back into VWAP. AMD is still sick, and I don't mean that like figuratively or anything like that. I mean like it's literally sick. There's something wrong with this stock. It just doesn't want to go with the group. So I think this is going to be a fade. If that was an all-time high fail break on Nvidia and we don't regain it, the lower high gets put in and then a trend down, AMD's a short. But I just needed some confirmation that we're actually headed down. Still like the longs. Want this to level off on NVIDIA. Want to try to make sure that we're getting it on strength and that's not buying the dip on some weakness.
All right, NVIDIA, again, like we mentioned here, let's just wait to see what winds up happening. I'm probably only going to look at these names. Let's just quickly look at DraftKings. So we've reloaded and just got out some more profit again on NVIDIA. All right, DraftKings right here. So I would want to look at this. We talked about this yesterday, that 137 break. So if it does wind up doing that, come on, Apple. Let's go Apple right now, man. Keep going, baby. All right, so DraftKings does absorb that 137. We looked at this yesterday as a possible trade. I mean, coming back in there. So we'll see what happens if it holds 37. Put a 1 in front of it and you're at NVIDIA levels. But that could be something that winds up holding. So just watch out for that. I was thinking on weakness today. It is weaker right now, than the market, but not by much. Obviously, the market today is focused on a few names, and we've looked at those today with Apple and Nvidia. All right, Palantir, another name that people were looking at. I mean, we got that story. Well, we didn't get any story. We got that look at what's going on here with Palantir today, and it is making those moves down. So I think that if you're going to be weak, if you're going to be short on something in this market, it might just be Palantir today. I mean, again, pretty weak there. We talked about an increased short float happening here on this name, so we'll have to look to see what exactly Nvidia wants to do, Palantir wants to do down here at $42, as it looks like it wants to break lower through this 42. And if it does, man, it does. Look out for those bottoms. I mean, we've seen a break of 42 yesterday right there at the same time. I mean, it didn't even hold it, just really went down. This is only a 20-minute candle, so all the way to the downside. And once it breaks out, it goes down to 40, 50. Okay, right now, over to Brennan. It's 10 o'clock.
A couple of data points just coming through here at 10 o'clock. Business inventories on a month-over-month basis. This is going all the way back to the August number here, 0.3% to the upside. Expected was 0.2%. National housing data as well just coming through there. The index 43 was the print versus 42. Retail inventories, if you take out autos as well, again, an August number on a month-over-month basis, 0.5% to the upside versus 0.3. That's about it as far as economic data. If you were just joining or missed the pre-market this morning, TSMC, big earnings report, blew out expectations right across the board, all-time highs for this one. Every uptick to that high was all-time highs out of the gate this morning for TSM, but Nvidia, yeah, taking the entire group on its back, marching to the upside, coming back in a little bit now, but still 2.5%. Semiconductors leading tech in a big way so far today. ASML, we were touching on the past couple of days here, notably weak. Once again, guys, coming back into yesterday's low, trying to hold for ASML after that huge dump on the earnings early release going back 2 days ago for that one, if you missed it. NIXX, we were talking about in the pre-market, one of many small cap high flyers again this morning. This one giving it all back in a hurry, down about $4 already off the open.
I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button.
As I say, I pity that fool, but we're taping a new one on Halloween because I'll dress up and then do a new one there because I feel like that's getting a little bit stale. And for the old heads out there that love the A-team, I love them too. I just try to dip by. I thought we had some strength in Nvidia. So we're looking at what happened last time when we dipped, which was we got that bottoming tail candle. There wasn't quite that. It was just a hold of this higher low, then a retake through the 139. But now it's getting heavy, right? So jumped in, gave it to that bottom wick, get out. It's the same thing I would have done here. If we had lost that previous support, I would have jumped out of it. We didn't. So this is why you get out of the trade, because now we're starting to come. Now it's heavy to the downside. TSM is starting to lose the bid in a bigger way. It's another reason to maybe wait for us to get to this 138. Prior high on TSM, 206. So if it can hold that prior high, I like it, and I like it a lot. Some dip buys. You just got to be careful though, because as quickly as we made that move up, remember that's a fail of an all-time high on Nvidia. So I want to see if we can get the same kind of entry as before, like let it make a bottom, like a wipeout style bottom, and get it on the other side of the trade. This is that time where you want to be a little bit. We always want to be patient, but you got to be extra patient here. TSM starting to do its bounce. Apple holding up pretty nicely, got to admit, at 231.5. So I'm not really as worried about Apple. It's weird because Apple was so much weaker off the open, and all of a sudden it's not really as bad. Just got to watch out for Nvidia trying to make a bottom here. Don't want to be in too early. I want some confirmation of this low.
Okay. We can look over at. I mean, we're in Nvidia and Apple still. We don't have too much else going on. I did want to look at Uber. I mean, if there's any other names, we looked at Palantir. Okay, Uber's now down to 79.59. Remember, we do like Uber. I bought some at the open. We talked about that, which was $80 or so. I think it was 80.01 or something. I got to fill. I always like to even scalp those positions. All right, so we'll wait to see where Uber goes. But again, downside push there. We can check out what Expedia is doing. Maybe going the other way there on possible merger or buyout news there from Uber and Expedia. It doesn't look like Expedia really cares about that. And of course, you know, patience is not really my middle name, which it should be. We are long Nvidia right now. We bought those dips down at 138. We're just following our rules. And now we have to hold back for, we don't have to do anything. All right, now we're starting to get back upside. All right, man, let's take some more out in the 80s or in the 79s there. Here it goes back up. We're waiting for 94s. We just put that ahead of that level. So there it goes. Oh my, that's a face slapper extraordinaire one more time here on end. Come on, NVIDIA, go make it sing, baby. If we could take this 139, then we're golden right now on NVDA. Come on, we're just taking more and more out. Okay, here we go. We're at now our highest spot of the day due to those reloads. So there it goes right now, NVIDIA. Okay, we are reloaded. And this is what I mean about looking at the same names. You know, you got to put them in. You got to see what's going to happen there. We'll take some more out there as we get into the 90s and 80s here on NVDA. We're only long at 70s, so it's not, you know, these outs in the 80s and 90s aren't like absolutely monstrous winners. But remember, we only held 20% left, if not less than that. Remember, I was trying to figure it out because we had to have so many positions on, so many different share sizes on this name. But there we go. So drops back in. We're able to load it back up down there. So yeah, we are trying to scalp out a little bit. This is a little bit of a danger zone for sure now for NVIDIA. So again, our net can hold this, so we're fine with what we're doing right now. We're still trading the same. Let's wait to see what happens up here at 139. We need that break, man. I mean, we're under, look, again, rose-colored glasses, right? We're underneath VWAP. Like Neil said this about Apple. You know, if you're not in it, you sort of have to think, okay, if you weren't, right, yeah, then what would I be thinking? And right now, like NVIDIA is underneath everything. So why are we trying to really catch these things? So when we get little bumps up, it is well worth taking some of this out against that bottom. So again, you know, you can sit here, love the chip space, love everything that we're doing and love the stock. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because day traders are a completely different beast completely. Like, I yesterday didn't sell any NVIDIA, but yet it went down to 231, 232. So as a day trader, you can get absolutely killed on those moves because you're trying to support it. But then again, in your long-term account, you wake up the next day and you break all-time highs again, up $8 from that bottom yesterday. So you got to be careful on what you're doing and make sure that what you're doing makes sense to you. And I think that's the most important thing there. And then look down at the end of the day and be happy with your net or not, and then adjust it from there. But right now, I want to be long NVIDIA. I like the story there with TSM. We just looked at TSM. It seemed fine to me at 207 and change. So we'll see if NVIDIA wants to hold this. But the market right now is at the day's low.
It just broke, actually.
Yeah, so we can figure it out.
I got a but, though.
Yeah.
The but is TSM actually looks good again. So make TSM great again. TSM just bounced off of 206. And now through 220. 207, 208. So there's your confirmation that it's holding the prior high. And then the second that happened, you know, whoops, sorry, I'm on Intel. I'll get to Intel in a quick little second. I meant to go there to NVIDIA. NVIDIA then bounces. So once that confirmation happened, I was in early. I didn't like that. Then TSM showed the confirmation, bought NVIDIA off the prior low, and now we'll play back into VWAP. So I think a little bit more patient on the second entry than the first. I am short Intel, but that's because, okay, well, a few things. Intel being Intel, it had the negative story yesterday. It tried to get through that prior close. So 2 days ago, you know, there you go, the prior close. Yesterday's resistance pretty much here at the 2250. So if you can't short up there, then I want to short off of underneath this close price and at yesterday's high. Also happens to be VWAP as well to boot. So you have a lot going on in terms of potential resistance on this lower high of Intel. But I'm out if it breaks 2260. We're short at 55. If it breaks 60, we're going to be out. I feel like if the market just continues to go lower, what chance does Intel have of not breaking its low, which is only 10 cents? Well, okay, 15 pennies from here. But TSM's looking fine. NVIDIA's looking good again. Apple, not really worried about that anymore. It's VWAP that I want to see on NVIDIA. It's good enough to hold this low, but you want it to do the same thing it did before. Get through VWAP, at least make a challenge of that 140 level. You can challenge that 140 level again. I think we've got no issues. The Piper and with the NASDAQ hitting these lows, there's a few things that have been looking pretty nasty. Alphabet down 1% and not looking great. However, I like Alphabet at the 50-period moving average. I don't know how likely it is that we see that today, but it's down there at the 162. So there's a lot of stocks that are really close to some big major moving averages. If Alphabet loses this bid, and I wasn't that bearish today, otherwise maybe I would have looked at a short of that bottom break. But 161.5 into 162, I do like Alphabet myself for some longs down there. With the market trying to break lows, it's actually possible we could see that here on Google. I'd take it if we get down there, but you know, we're only halfway.
Right, some more. Yeah, I mean, I really like Google, so we'll be buying that name on some dips as well. All right, so just looking here, some more outs on NVIDIA. right? Like, we're not going to sit here and hope and pray for anything to happen. We're going to trade what we see. And there's another out for us right there, a couple outs on this last pop-up. So, we'll get longer again down here, but we are very, very aware that if we break the low here on Nvidia, then there is nowhere to go but lower. Is what I would think on that one. So we'll take some down here if we can get some, and there it is. We just take some more down here at 30s, and now we'll wait to see what winds up happening with NVDA. So here we go. Let's see. Breaking now through 138 is definite possibility. And hey, if this happens, we are completely comfortable with this trade now. This was a huge move up. We were not very comfortable when this was happening, but again, able to take out all the way here. So far, so good. We do not get that. We were waiting for a little bit more down there. We just got missed. We were waiting at 80. Well, now we'll get it probably. We're waiting at 85, and there it is right now. So here comes the bottom of the day, 137 coming into play, 137.50. You guys, you know what I mean? You can wait and hope for something to happen or just punch out. So we'll do that here because we can't just celebrate like, oh my God, there's like a 25-penny winner, a dollar winner, and then we got to take dollar hits sometimes too. So there it goes, breaking through 137.50. So we will get stopped out there on that last bit of Nvidia, but do we just bounce off of there? I mean, we didn't necessarily need to get back in. We said that if this makes that move down, then we will get out. But like that last reload was 85. So a little bit of a hit there on that last piece for Nvidia. Apple's starting to fall back in. I mean, we said this market was pretty sick, and this actually looks like a good short from there. So maybe that Nvidia play up there again for the second time today gets up to that 141 right there. It tried to go break through VWAP, tried to go that second time and missed it. So early break of 140 doesn't happen. The late break does, and you get a dollar, and now you're pushing back off of that level. So now you probably have to wait at least for this to get taken out again, 137.80s. You want to make sure that you can close this back candle to see if that was sort of the wipeout bottom right there that just existed. So that's 137.80 break longer. I think it might be worth a try if you're interested in getting long one more time on Nvidia.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait patiently on that one. It just could not hold that prior low. So I got out of it when it was at that entry price in here. So if we're taking this bounce, I'm out underneath that quarter mark. It could be a wick bottom, but I want this to settle itself down. TSM just made a lower high as well, which I've been watching very closely. What's crazy is TSM, Blue Ocean, baby. It's alphabetical, so Blue Ocean always comes up first. So TSM just made a lower high, but look where it's at. Like super, super strong. All of a sudden, Nvidia is showing some relative weakness in here. So I'm just going to be patient once again. Want to make sure we get some good entries on it. But it does seem like we should still be having some kind of a bid in here. I did take more out of Intel because it didn't flush on that last move. All it did is go right back into 50 and catch a bid. So it was relatively weak. Now it's not doing anything. I still feel if we continue to go lower, this one should drag. But it's AMD that is the super weak one in here. I think this is already at the lows. This is kind of what I expected Intel to already be doing. AMD trying to bounce off that 157. The other thing I should have mentioned, we do have 155 in here for support on AMD, but that's a couple of dollars away before we even get any shot at it. And Tesla, the other one, I thought maybe with that weakness, Tesla would break this low, and then we get another shot at that 214, 215 zone. Tesla holding 218 as we speak. So suddenly, not looking as bad on Tesla, but let's see it actually hold the bottom, make some higher lows before looking at any kind of a dip buy over in TSLA. Entirely too weak right now. If it continues a downward trend, 214, 215 is where the buyers were before. That's where I'd like to see them step up. Lucid, I think you're maybe past the SSR bounce because it probably already happened at the open, but it also didn't challenge $3 where I thought we'd be shorting out and about and over that level. So I'm looking for some higher lows to play off on Lucid, and it's just bouncing off VWAP as we speak. So little confirmation. We'll look for a couple of sideways bounces off of VWAP, and I'll look for the long there. But the big SSR bounce, that was likely right at the open, like 260 into 290. So the big one's probably already happened there.
Look, guys, one day we'll actually make money on these stocks. I'm just not sure what day that is. We just made the bottom again on Nvidia. But good thing for us, we were able to get back in, and now we'll just this is the problem, It's like we just make back what we lose. Like, why can't we just keep what we make there? But that bottom was made. So what am I supposed to do? It was literally made by 10 cents. We take it out. That happens to us. We can expand our stop zones, which is what I was talking about yesterday. So maybe we'll do that. But at least today, and what we've been doing is getting lighter and lighter on the amount of shares that we have running into those levels, right? Because again, it's not super hard to pick support levels. It's just you're going to miss sometimes. And sometimes it could be by 20 cents. Sometimes it could be 5 cents. Sometimes it could literally be like right now, bless you, just ripping up $1 right now from where we got stopped out. So like if that doesn't hit there and then we continue to go higher, then you're talking about a completely different game, but it doesn't matter. We actually bought back shares there and we talked about what we wanted to do. Let's get it back if it does break through that bar close. And that's exactly what wound up happening. So we'll take another offer right now, get some more out F54s. Oh my God, now we're 80 cents in the money. I mean, we've made it back. It's just to get stopped out there is like a, kind of a situation. Okay, Apple, I mean, look what this is doing right now again. We might as well cross down. Did we get those 91s or 92s? Yes, we did. So there's an out. I'll tell you exactly the price that we got there, 92. So a nice out there on Apple as that continues to go higher and higher and higher right now. So boom, goes a dynamite on this trade. I mean, this has been a banger of a trade for sure. And there we go now, back in the money $1. Like it's so... Oh, man, it's not embarrassing because it is what it is. And we have to follow our plan, and I'm happy to follow the plan. But every single day, you guys know, I mean, the real traders here watch these shows every day. And you know, if you're trading, you have to get out when levels break. And that broke, and we wound up getting out. But again, we make the bottom. So that's back-to-back days. There must be, I'm like getting to be, we've always talked about like, oh, nobody's listening to us. Nobody's hearing anything. But right now, I mean, I'm picking these levels, and they're really not, they're at that sort of capitulation zone, and then bang, it hits and then rips back up. So that's fine. We make this money back, but that sucks to have gotten stopped out. Apple is really, really on one, so we'll continue to take some more out here. Now breaking up through 232 again. We're long at 230.84. We've got more than that $1 right now in the money on a decent size there for Apple, as you see. And then Nvidia right now having a hard time trying to get back to that 50-period moving average. So the question just remains, what do you think about the futures? The futures right now trying to bounce again. I got a coffee coming from Randy. Did he ask in the main chat there
shoot.
Or not?
He might not have.
Oh, he did not. Okay, I'll just tell him to get you one.
I take one, yeah, for sure. I find it helps with the allergies, and thank you for the... when I have allergies, coffee is so fantastic. The NASDAQ is yet to put in a green candle.
I buy it.
But it feels like one is happening here. So this is essentially overnight support, prior resistance, 2040, 20,400. Sorry, 20,400, not 2040. It looks like we're making a little bit of a bounce play off of that. So we just got lighter on Intel because I just feel like it's not really falling the way that it should if it's relatively weak. And if we can put in a green candle and put a reversal on here, this seems like the spot. Now, I don't know how much I love Tesla at this level. Like I was going over the names that are kind of on the list that we like. And Amazon 186 does stand out. It's trying to break a bit of a trend to the downside. But then my thought was, well, we already like Apple. And Apple just went red to green. It just put in a nice consolidation higher low. Well, if we're going to bounce here, let's look to play this bounce. I want to try to reload Apple because we're not going to get, if we get 230.5 again, I feel like that's not good. But if we can play 231.5, somewhere under VWAP here, trail out underneath this quarter mark anyways, and then add to that long back into 233. So I think that's the play for myself. It's like, why try to bounce on something that you didn't already like? So I'm going to look for Apple down here in front of that 231.60. I saw in the chat, like, why is Google falling? It's always easy enough to try to come up with narratives for why some things are up or down. The NASDAQ is down. Alphabet is down. I mean, they recently, the DOJ and blah, blah, blah and all that. Not DOJ. All the antitrust concerns, the breakup talk, all that nonsense. I feel like it's in a consolidation phase, not a down phase. So you buy the 50-period moving average and 168 to sell. So it's just following the market is what it seems to me. And it's actually held the lows. I just like Apple a little bit better at these levels. So that's what we're going to continue to trade. Nvidia is back at VWAP. It didn't really present as clean of an entry when I was watching TSM. Like, usually TSM was giving me entries there, but this one just kind of happened on its own through the 138. So I got it at the quarters. We hold VWAP and put in higher lows off that double bottom. Don't mind getting in on that regard. But it's the 138 that was good before. That's what I'll wait out for.
All right. We are, I mean, again, another $1.20 in the money here on Nvidia. We'll take some more out on the top side as we break through, but I don't know if we're going to hold it. So we'll take an out at the 50 period and then an out here at VWAP as we continue to watch out for that stock. I mean, we've already talked about all the names that we've been here trading today. And again, you know, it's been a good day. It could have always been better. You know, sometimes we get those stop outs like I talk about and they suck. And that's what happened to me there on Nvidia at that bottom. But thankfully, we're able to buy it back, and it'll just be the day that we thought we could have on it, but could have been something better. But that's what happens, you know, levels break on that. Donkey Kong broke below 37. No, who's the one telling me that in the chat? Oh, you are right. Okay, so right now, I'm not on this name right here. We would have loved to have taken some more shares on this, but we'll see about punching in a little bit here into, there we go, we'll wipe down a little bit there. It's not too many shares, as you can see on here, but we'll wipe down, we get some odd fills. We'll take that, some in there, in and around 91 change right now for DraftKings. I mean, I like this trade. We talked about it breaking through, so there it goes. It didn't like hammer it down, it went to 84s. But again, if I'm here at 37, I think we absolutely nailed that. So that was a great idea, I feel like, for that trade. Because again, if you were here sitting there, and I should have been, just it was up here at 20s. I was like, it's not happening. And then it does. But there, that 37 break gets you immediately 10 cents. You don't really have to worry. It does go back up to flat, and then it rents down another 15 cents. So we'll go short right now on DraftKings and see what happens. This is a level that we do like. Thank you so much there, Randy. That was a very good one. How's your morning been going? Randy, pretty good. Thumbs up. Yeah, Lucid is bouncing off of those levels as well here, Randy. So as you can see, there it is, bouncing a little bit. I mean, it was down 19%, and now we are only down 15%. So that is what it is. But this program and this segment right now, guys, brought to you by our good friends at Trade the Pool. So if you want to see Neil smile, make sure you do hit that QR code right there. Never miss an opportunity with Trade the Pool. Traders like you get evaluated and trade real shares using the company's capital with no PDT rule holding you back. That's how you get that true trading edge. Here's the exciting part. Trade the Pool has just launched a limited edition program to evaluate stock traders for a one-time fee of just $97. You'll receive $20,000 in buying power, and all you got to do is reach your profit goal. It can be difficult, but we can do that. The best part of this limited edition program is that you have reduced the profit goal and the minimum trades required to reach the funded phase. The profit split has been upgraded to 70% of the profits. You should definitely check it out. Scan that QR code immédiatement, and you will get Trade the Pool. Grab that right there, $97. Grab that 10% off. Hit that QR code ASAP to get into our kind of life here and trade with a prop firm. All right,
you got to hit it just because Sean went all multilingual.
I'm trying to show my diversification.
That was French, by the way, for anyone that didn't realize it, like people like myself. But quick adjustment to plan before we go to small cap recap. Apple's got to be a VWAP buy instead because Apple's starting to churn higher. It's back into the green. But let's go up to the desk. We've got Brendo. Wow. We got the small cap recap.
Busy day once again. Lots of little ones moving around, as we were mentioning in the pre-market. 2 or 3 days in a row here, we've had all kinds of small cap runners. Worth noting, some of the ones that we were discussing yesterday continuing lower today, including that ATNF was among the biggest movers yesterday on the high side. This one was up significantly in the pre-market. NIXX touched $10. We're back at, what is that, $5.90 right now for Nixie. They announced intent to acquire a privately held wholesale gift business in the pre-market this morning. Little biotech name, TVGN, still holding on to a decent gain here, 42%, trying to get back above 150. That's 150 just above us right now for TVGN. All kinds of volume behind this one as well. SARS-CoV-2 and cancer patients update from one of their trials coming through this morning. Shout out to our friends once again over at WorkSport. WKSP holding on to 55 cents right now. Business update from them this morning, including the path to profitability and nearly $2 million in savings. CEO on the show today, guys, for WorkSport.
Oh boy, that should be a great one. Make sure you definitely check that out. Brendan, we got a time on that? 1:45?
3.
Yeah, it's 2:45. That is, oh, I forgot about the coffee. Okay, so 2:45, go find out that. We've been talking about WorkSport. We wanted to have them on, and we're really glad to have grabbed them here today. Okay, everybody. This Nvidia, nice move on that one. Apple, make us blush. Right now up 170 on Apple as that's continuously going higher, it seems like, as well now for Apple. But what's not going well, and who brought this to my attention in the chat? That's okay. DraftKings right now breaking back above 37 right now. I'm going to give this a 37.10. But again, our position is 94s. So that's fine. We could take a 14-cent hit if that does come through. And I'm just playing around. We like that trade. It is on the sticky note, obviously, as we talk about that here, back, forth, and around. All right, we'll take advantage of Apple and get some more out up here. Double outs right here at this breaking spot of 232.50. That's where we broke lower. I mean, look at the difference a day makes by being patient, I feel like. Not very patient, of course, with Nvidia, and took hit on that one as that came back down on us. I am still like, oh man, I almost threw up in my mouth again there. Sorry for that, but that's gross. Right down there at 137.40, like we got stopped out there. But the good thing about it was we've re-looked at these things. Before I would just punch back in sort of blindly there, not blindly, but wait for it to build and then go. We just waited for that tick right there to happen, breaking back above 80. We actually wind up getting, it was a pretty quick trade. I had to like manually punch it in. I didn't even have to stop for this one. We wound up getting 86s right there on that break, and then we get some out at 139.50. So that turns out to be, again, about a $2.30 rip back there to the upside. But again, you have to get that fill. Sorry, did I say 230? That's 137.80 to 139.50, so $1.70, sorry, of a move to the upside right there. So yeah, pretty happy with that. We're pretty happy with Apple. I mean, Apple was a great buy down into there as well. So another name, DraftKings, we looked at that. That's starting to come back in a little bit. Do we have a target for DKNG? I actually don't have any bids out for this name, so I should put some bids here as we're starting to come in just a little bit. We'll put something at 90, then we'll put something at 85s and see if we get a fill. But that's a good one. There's 37. This is what we should have in the first place. Our last little reload there is 97 and change. So I'd feel better if we had 97s, but we have 94s. We'll wait to see what happens here with DKNG. Out at 37.10 if it does go.
Yeah, good look over there in DraftKings.
Yeah,
that's one. That and Palantir kind of forgot to look at. Nike I forgot to look at. Apple doesn't seem to want to get back into VWAP. I threw up the trend line and said, okay, let's just go long off the trend, and then it made a more steep trend. I needed to pull back to VWAP. We're too close to that 233, which was the over-under level for me. So I don't want to short it because I think it's relatively strong compared to the things that I like for bounces. So I want to make sure that we're not getting too tight to this level to go long. So waiting for that 232 to come into play. Uber is starting to set back up again. Well, starting to. It's holding VWAP. It never came to 78 on that Expedia rumor that they would be buying. Again, there's nothing concrete that they would actually buy Expedia, $20 billion company. That would be a big deal. And no response from them particularly, at least that I've heard. So if it can hold VWAP here, break out this local top at 80, it's like 80.27, looking to go long through that break here, give it to underneath VWAP, and then resume the Uber trade. I tried it on the way back down, bouncing VWAP, but now you're making some higher lows. So I'd like it to break out that resistance here on Uber to look for that next entry. Just going to get my stop order in there. I promised it would slow when it will slow down. I'd mention the Nvidia 140 breakout. I made a change and got a way better price than normal. And that change was, instead of just crossing like 25, 30 cents, which I usually would, I crossed like 10 pennies. And then I got an 03, which the last time I crossed 20-something cents, I ended up getting 16s. So I don't know whether that improves your price, but I'm just doing that every time in. It's like, if you can get really tight to that level, it makes a scalp trade better. That said, if we break 140 again, do not forget the all-time high is this high here. So it failed it the first time, got 15 pennies or so, but if we fail that again on any break of 140, that's double barrel failures, and I'd look for some reverses in at least this, maybe even the chip names, because TSM's breaking higher and continuing to go, and we can't seem to get higher on Nvidia. It's just weird to me, but that's the way it's going. Intel's just doing this thing at VWAP, but this is the first time that looks like this one is going to be a flush. If the market goes red again, Nvidia's losing, not Nvidia, Intel's going to lose his bottom ahead to 2220, almost for sure. And I bet you AMD is about to get that low. AMD couldn't quite get to VWAP in there. Yeah, the only thing I'm short is Intel, and I feel like I should have. It's too early. It didn't quite get to VWAP. It didn't quite get to resistance on advanced micro devices. But that's also sick. Up 1% is a deceiving number on AMD. It's deceiving on Intel. Those stocks are both really weak today.
Yeah, Intel was a great trade yesterday. We indicated that yesterday. That was, we were short 2230s early. It went down to 2180. Yeah, that was a monster trade yesterday. I mean, I wish that could come back, and hopefully it does. All right, so we did not buy that recent dip. We got a piece out. We got about 5% out. All of these outs now are like 2 to 5% for me. I'm trying to hold this. I mean, again, look what we did. Bought that dip, out 50, out VWAP, out 200 period. We got some outs there in the 80s, I think, maybe even 90s. We'll have to double check them for you there. And by the way, Neil, oh, geez, man. Okay, now you're talking about putting some money in your damn pocket right now. As DraftKings right here, making it work out for us right now. We do it, we'd get that bid. We talked about bidding some 85s. We just take it twice right there. We were actually at 86s, so I got 86. I got 86 again when we went over there. And I'm just looking, this is why I have my net up, because I would have missed this. I was just looking at Nvidia, and all of a sudden, flash, right there, we get that fill. Something just broke 90s, and we get double barrel 86 fills right there on this name. And again, like, this is the benefit, again, of making a play and putting on share amounts that actually make a difference for me. So we're going to wait now. Again, when you're wrong, you're wrong. It completely sucks. We talked about where we're getting stopped out. If this can break through 37.10, and it might do that. Again, the market just wicked real low. So that's why we're take advantage of that. We'll get out of a third of it down there. We got some 90s, then we got some 85s. So, you know, I'm fine with this market ripping because we've got the biggest and the baddest right here. But at the end of the day, okay, well, you're right back here. We might as well get another piece out at 61s. There we go. We'll take another piece out because we're back to the 200 period moving average. I am not taking a 140 long. We still have a decent piece left of this trade. We have about 25% left of what we had down here. So far, so good on that one. I just heard in my ear crypto with Brendo. That's something that we haven't looked at today. And crypto continues to make lower lows, I feel like. But we'll get the story from Brendan, who will be much more exact on that. So let's go over to the big desk.
Being influenced a little bit by equity markets, I feel some of these crypto-related stocks today. Anyways, coin downside in a pretty big way here. 3.6%. I'll show you Bitcoin in a second, but initially all of these were higher as we got above 67,000 for BTC. Yeah, no longer. That's still that little small cap popped up once again on a volume scanner there. 45% trying to get back above that 150, but Bitcoin itself still holding up decently. Mara downside as well, along with equities. MSTR downside as well, along with equities, but still holding on a little bit stronger than the rest here at this point. It's worth noting with pre-market highs still acting as support. But if we go over to BTC USD, still green on the day, guys.
So Bitcoin's done it again. And which by again, I mean on the daily chart, sometimes you have a trend line and it's just as obvious as it gets. There is your trend top on BTC, almost to the penny up there recently. We just rejected it yesterday. And you know, you're consolidating under. So the last time this happened, we got all the way down to 50,000. I'd like to think that's not going to happen again, but who knows? I think it's consolidating to break out the top at this point. It looks very strong going into it, but be careful with those names. All right, Apple's starting to come back into trend. So here is another dip into VWAP. That was a crazy bounce off VWAP the first time. Didn't give any kind of a consolidation for a good long. I think if I took that long in there, we'd just be out. Need to see it hold something looking a bit stronger out in front of this trend that we have on Apple before I get any kind of an ad. TSM is now pulling back a little bit there. That Uber,
look what's happening
break
with
that we wanted is not really happening there. DraftKings dying, eh?
DraftKings is just, this is going to be my P&L number one. What? What did I just say? Like, that is ridiculous, in my opinion. But it's not. I mean, it's just an idea, and you want to put on those shares, right? And I mean, when it hits, it hits. At this rate now, I mean, position pending here. Let's punch some more out there as we'll just slap out a little bit there and get some of that. But there it is, man. Like, who would have thought after all of this, I have traded infinitely more shares on Nvidia, not so many more shares on Apple. But DraftKings right here, because of the fact that we're able to hold a decent percentage of this and get a great price and be confident in it and do this, DraftKings right now, position pending, is going to be, I mean, I still think Nvidia, obviously, as it dances around, could still be that, but we're really proud of this trade here on DraftKings. And I mean, we posted it up on our sticky note, and not only that, we talked about this yesterday, and I made the comment, the funny one about if Neil was here, we'd write this on his iPad. DraftKings breaking down through 37. I mean, we had this trade yesterday on our mind.
Flat
and yeah,
bottom break.
Yeah, exactly. The famous flat bottom breaker right there of that. And we liked it enough to put it on the board right there. Even in the fact, this is how you got to be confident. The market right now today up, and we still hit that short with confidence in that name. So I like it. I like it a lot as we just get a dip down in there and actually get a 72 fill right there on that name. So, oh boy, this has been a great day. Here goes Nvidia. Let's just go. I don't even have any. I want to make sure I say this properly. I do not have any other offers out on Nvidia. We've already taken too much out here at the 200 period moving average. If you are very hesitant about any of these trades right now, I don't blame you. It's at the 200 period. It hasn't looked great. If it breaks it, let's go. But for right now, not sure it's going to do that. We're taking more and more out here on Nvidia to the point where we only have about 20% left of this position that we have right from down here. So take it for what it's worth right now. It's Nvidia. It's been a great stock to trade, but I'm really over the moon with DraftKings. This has been a big one for me here.
Almost a weekly occurrence here. I was trying to find the last one, but Roblox didn't really move on this. There was a volume spike, but price action didn't really go anywhere. October 3rd, I guess, was the last one, but another bear cave note downside on RBLX, guys.
Oh, the bear cave doing their thing. Shout out to you, Brendan, getting that news to us right quick. However, that last segment and all this, maybe not just yet. Okay, before we get into that, I've reloaded Apple off VWAP, and I'm about to, not yet, but you can see the trend line that just got formed on Nvidia. It's trying to bounce off this a couple of times in here, which gives you 139 and VWAP as a support level. I wanted to consolidate higher off that trend, close after breaching it, close above, and then go into the long trade. So I like drawing these trends when you have a significant price action or price level to work off of. The first one was an all-time high. The second one here was that wipeout bottom on Nvidia. So just want to be very, very careful because the market is getting to VWAP and pulling back in here. That could be it could easily just break back underneath. I want it to close above, which hasn't happened just yet. But you know what? You can't draw trend lines. You can't find key levels or anything like that without charting in the first place. And eSignal is your go-to for that. We're talking about a professional platform where you can trade harder, smarter, not harder, I should say. Upgrade to this elite trading experience. You're able to analyze, strategize, and capitalize on what you see in the markets, infinite data, customizable trading and customizable tools. The best thing about it, as far as I'm concerned, is great back testing. If you are going to develop a strategy, why not make sure that it is A, worked in the past, B, worked in the future? Back test, forward test. You can connect to an API as well to do some automated trading and some automated signals. You're going to want to be able to get every single stock that you can. eSignal is going to give that to you. In addition to all of this, we're talking about real-time data. Every second on every symbol that you can possibly imagine over there on eSignal, traded by a lot of traders here on this floor and other floors at Real Trading that I'm aware of. And a lot of traders like Sean has been using it for 20 years. I've used it on and off myself. So if you're looking to elevate your game and get yourself a professional charting system, eSignal is for you. So scan that QR code below. Check the link in the description if you are interested, and eSignal is for you. So shout out to eSignal. But unfortunately, that setup that I was looking for in Nvidia, hey, if it doesn't actually give it to me, I don't actually have to take it. So I wanted it closing out and about and above that trend line. Did it? Nope. So I'm not out because I was never in it, but no, we're not going to take it. And then Apple, which was looking relatively strong. Oh, Apple, you were doing your thing. It lost trend as well. So out of Apple, one buy, one off VWAP, and then it loses it. So the only thing we're left is a short in Intel, which is still lower highs, still holding the trend line to the downside. So we're going to hold for a low break there on INTC. So far it's been Apple, Nvidia, and Intel for myself, with one foray into Uber, which obviously Uber did not hold the trend and did not break higher. So again, another setup that we just didn't quite have to the upside. But I feel like we're at that good inflection point on the futures, in the market, I should say, in a general sense. Like higher low, wipe out bottom. The next step, if you're bullish, was a hold above VWAP and a breakout. That's where we're setting up Apple, Nvidia, and Uber longs, but neither of those came in. So instead, you end up losing the bid here on the NASDAQ. And I think that took everything into the downside. So just got to be patient with it. There's going to be other opportunities. I do see Adam DeLuz in the chat, Tesla short, and Jode Koji, I hope I got that name right, DJT, while you still can. I have not looked at DJT this morning. It was under 30 bucks. Wasn't this? Oh, okay. Well, I didn't realize it would have gone down this much.
How much?
It went down to 28.50.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It seems. So, yeah, DJT was, hold on a second, did that go down 10%? Close. Really close. I don't think it got SSR. No, it doesn't look like it got short sale restricted. But, yeah, DJT, bit of a wipeout bottom there at 28.5. Oh, the big level yesterday was 27. That's nowhere close to that one. But, yeah, DJT taking it a bit on the chin, but not SSR. Let's see it bust through 30 and hold VWAP before I'd be into the longs. I'd be much more interested in that long if it had actually ticked down 10%, to be honest with you.
All righty then. Yeah, good look there on DJT. I mean, some of those runners today, I mean, we can check out, what was it, TV. I mean, first of all, I mean, DraftKings.
Oh, my God.
I, again, would have guessed after all of this that it's stock that triggers in on my account at what time? And thank you to you guys in the chat there for this as well. This triggered in at about 10:20. Who would have thought when we were Nvidia crazy today and Apple crazy that DraftKings would have popped in there and been my #1 stock there today? That's pretty wild for sure. So we'll continue to hold out for lows on this one if we can get there. We are taking some more. I'm going to talk about that other stock that I was just on, TVGN, in a second. Right there, another out for Apple as we get back up to the 50-period moving average. So we're just starting to sort of scalp these bad boys out. We did not reload Nvidia down here because we're waiting for 138s. So if that comes in, that's where it's a reload. And it's not a punch longer for me. It's just a get out when we come up here, 140.50. That's going to be my first area of getting out for that stock. So, all right, TVGN, let's have a quick look at some of these runners. So 147, we brought this one to your attention in the pre-market as it started ripping up. And right now it's holding pretty good. I noticed yesterday with some of these runners that the 200 period might be something. So pay attention to that one. Oh boy, Nvidia just ripped up real good, man. My net is really singing. Now I'm going to put an offer. I said I wouldn't get out, but at least I went over to the stock and told you that I just did. Right there, 139.55, another piece out. Every piece I get out seems to be a mistake, but right there goes Nvidia. Nice move back up to the upside. We have to take that out. It was just at 138.80s. And, you know, like I said, if you're trading shares, you look down and you blink, and it's like, what the hell? Why did that just go red? All right, TVGN. What about ShiftPixie? We talked about that name earlier as well. These are going to be names that, in a matter of 20 minutes, it's the sheriff over there. Sharif the sheriff. It's actually a good thing you didn't really become a sheriff, I think, because that might have confused a lot of people.
Well, if you run for sheriff.
Yeah, I mean, he would get my vote. I mean, he is the Trader TV Live sheriff right now. Someone's got to protect us around here. Thank you, Sharif, for that, for sure. So if you guys meet me in that back alley, man, I'm bringing my guy with me next time. You know, the judge told me not to use these things again, so we have to wait while I get some protection with that. Okay, that's Sharif. All right, and then Joe coming through is, again, the babyface assassin over there. Oh, it's options today.
Let's go.
All right. Yeah, so you have an option to watch or not. I think that's
no, you don't.
Well, you do. This is, you know,
we're not you know, holding gun to anyone.
Yeah, exactly. All right, DraftKings starting to go a little bit lower, but ShiftPixie right now 109%. You just looked at DJT. And we're going to go over to Brendan in just 1 second. Drug down 23%. We have AIFF. I'm just going to talk about Firefly for a minute. Doesn't look like it's halted here today, but not really moving around either. So some of these bigger names that moved around yesterday seem to have been calmed down a little bit. And then for those of you, I mean, Neil just talked about it, but DJT here again, kind of quiet for the day, down 4%, which might not be quiet, but for those of you that are trading options and whatnot, look at DJT here today, as it seems like it might be a little bit better to pick up some premium today, as it's only down 4%, as it's been moving, you know, 10, 15% some days. There it goes again, but oh boy, this day's what? I mean, DraftKings right now, I'm like, Hello. DraftKings just drops below. That's your 50-cent banger right there on DraftKings. DraftKings right now has solidified its place as easily the #1 stock here traded so far at Trader TV Live. Sharif and Joe are ready to go on the midday, but at the desk right now is Brendo.
Still positive, guys, for the overall market right now, but a bit of a mixed bag as far as the S&P is concerned. As you can see, still strength as far as semiconductors are concerned. AVGO, Broadcom, actually a little bit better off at this point than Nvidia, AMD still there as well. But yeah, notably, Google, Adobe, Netflix, among those two, the downside. Microsoft down here just holding on to positive territory. ORCL, nice day as well, 1.3%. Tough to see, but that way down there is Uber. 2% downside, pretty red, 2.5% even downside. So they're not liking these Expedia rumors, the market not liking these Expedia rumors. I saw David Faber on CNBC made some calls, quote unquote, and couldn't find anyone willing to say that this is even true. So take it for what it's worth. UNH, notably weak. Tesla, downside as well, about 0.75% right now, guys.
Whoops. So we tweeted out this DraftKings trade when we took it, right? And here it was right here afterwards. Oh, that's someone else retweeting me. But anyways, we retweeted oh no, this is my, hold on a second here. We're going to a profile right here to show you guys. So we just put this out here as attachment to our, we said at Trader TV Live. We did it again. We talked about this yesterday. And there's the breakthrough 37 right there. And now we're at 36.50, just a matter of minutes later. So we continue to make new lows right now on DKNG, down that 1.92% right now as we continue to make those names. And what a great trading day it's been today. We're able to run Apple all the way back up as well right there. We didn't get VWAP exactly. We got 232. It goes up to 232.15 and then bounces off a little bit right there. So yeah, man, whoopsies. We will end the day positive, and obviously I couldn't have done it, couldn't have had the net we had today anyways if we don't have this DraftKings trade. So again, another name that's here on the sticky note, different than usual, right? DraftKings, Lucid, Apple, Nvidia, and Uber, the names on here, the ones that aren't the usual ones are DraftKings, Lucid, and Uber. And it's funny because nor you nor I were able to get into Lucid, but it did just drop into VWAP right there. So I feel like if you are going to want to trade this name, you now have to sort of look to see what levels have been formed today. We were waiting for 250. That bottom of 260 never even came into play unless you were here at 830. So there was really no dip buy opportunities except for maybe right now, which just happened to add, and again, it's only 5 cents, but you could get that dip coming through again. I'm going to leave Lucid alone.
Well, the problem is, well, it's not a problem.
Oh, Nvidia, do something.
It's usually, when it's an SSR bounce, but like a stock is down 10%, we're looking for that bounce. That's kind of, it's a gimmicky strategy, and you want it, the idea is that it's trying to go lower, fails to break a level. Everyone's chasing it down because they can't hit the bid, so they're just sitting on the offer, trying to get filled, trying to get filled, trying to get filled, trying to get filled, and then they don't really do the fill until it's breaking through a big key level to the downside, and then you get a fast reverse. Like, that's the plan. So when it never comes down, there's no entry for that kind of a thing. It just never gave you that, the trade that I would have traded, or that most of us would have traded. So it just goes up, great for anyone into Lucid if you happen to buy in the pre-market, but that was never really the plan of action. I'm trying to look for some better sign of strength instead of, like, it's getting a bit messy on Nvidia. It didn't hold on to that recent trend. Still some higher lows being put in, so I'll look for the next entry to set itself up. And then Apple, we got out of Apple, and it's now headed, looks like we're just losing VWAP and heading right back into the low. So just going to have to wait for it. Just trying to be particular. And if we're going to go to the low of the day, wait for that low of the day and then make a trade. So with 230 was the support that we liked on Apple. It got to 230.5 and bounced. Now it might take that 230 again. DJT, I guess I should have paid for low case to play 30 or have the ability to play 30 in both directions. I was looking to see if it could hold VWAP. I didn't pay for locates anyway. It's not like I could have shorted it at VWAP if I wanted to, but they're probably cheap, so I'll likely go ahead and do that in the middle of the day. I'd like us to break this trend, maybe get squeezing again above the 30 level, but there's another rejection for DJT. So just every time I think something is making a bottom that we can go into a long on, it ends up rejecting. And speaking of that rejection, it's AMD, which is, I think, the most sick, with the exception of ARM, which actually it looks a little bit worse than AMD, but AMD's right off this 157 low. So it's trying to hold the low. It's close to the 50 period, but not very. And it got 155 support from yesterday and a 156 close price. So I think it's a little bit tight to want a bad entry on a short position. But if we continue this trend down, and let me just put this on the 15 here. If we continue this trend down, you do have room for it to get to the low. It's just starting to get a little bit tight. So if I hit save, one of my favorite features is that trend on the 15 pops in over here. That gives me a short into about 158. So we'll hold Intel, just trying to be patient, see if Nvidia or Apple can set up again for a long, and now looking at the trend short here on advanced micro devices. But that's gonna have to come back up to the 158 level. Still some nice small cappers going in there. Shout out to you, Rogelio Concepcion. I love that. Davey Concepcion.
Yeah,
But
good name.
Every time I think of, I'm a big baseball fan, so that.
Really?
Oh yeah, like anyone doesn't know that. Yeah. No, Big Red Machine shortstop was a Davey Concepcion. CTCX. So this one's done.
Yeah, sports.
Here's the thing. Usually a penny stock that did a rejection of $1 like this, coming back up to retest $1, I'd be looking for a short, like a fail break of $1. The problem with this stock is, for a runner that's only 76 cents, it's done 5 million shares. Ideally, at this time of the day, a stock you want to trade in the penny stock realm has done 50 million, 100 million. So it's relatively light liquidity for a penny stock runner. But that doesn't mean it can't be traded. It just means it's a different beast than trading, like Mullen when it was a penny stock, or something we'd usually get into. So yeah, CTCX, you can already see $1, rejection of $1. To me, that's usually a fade at the $1 level. Let me just see if we actually have locates on this one. The answer is no. So we got to pay for locates on this. I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. So DJT and CTCX, I'm going to pay for some shorts. Just so in case we get the chance, we can actually pull the trigger.
Ozan wondered if the poor cow has passed away. It has not. The cow trade today has really been focused on DraftKings there. But you know what else we can't go without? We haven't. Sometimes we don't get the update. Sometimes we do, but we have it right now. But what is for lunch today? This is going to impress the boys behind us for sure. I would think today it's going to be a good one. It's beef bourguignon today with steamed rice, steamed broccoli, as well with a nice spinach salad with house tomatoes, red and yellow pepper, cucumber, and carrot. So all fancy bougie like today with some beef bourguignon right there. Shout out to Chef Joe and everybody else who prepares such fine foods every single day. That's a great passion. I have an uncle that is a blue or red seal. I'll have to ask him again to figure it out. Or is green the highest? You guys tell me what it is. I don't think he's the highest. I think he's the one level below. So shout out to that. Chef seal, like you can get a seal. Okay, gotcha, it's like, yeah. So people in the chat will know about that. All right, so just so everyone is fully aware, 15% left right now of DraftKings. It made the move. If it drops more and we come back here after lunch and everything, and this stock is where it's at, which would be obviously pretty huge right there for us, if that's the case. But we're definitely acknowledging right now that we will be stopped out in and around. Sorry, not stopped out. We are getting lighter and lighter on this trade as we only have 15%. So if it does fall back in, great. And we'll be able to take some out. And my target now, we just hit that 50 period moving average on the daily chart, 36.50. So you guys know I like trading around 50s. So that's big. Those are big outs for us right into here. So far, so good. Let's see if we can keep sort of that mojo going on DraftKings. And okay, I mean, now here it goes even lower right now. So we'll see if we can get a 34 fill. If we do that, then yeah, all aboard on that one with that fill. So far, so good there as that's coming back in again. We'll take a 34 if available. All right, we've talked about Nvidia. We only have a couple more minutes left. We're light. We've gotten a lot lighter on this trade, and I have to apologize because it's hard for me sometimes to figure out exactly how many shares we do and don't have left over. I would say about 25%. Oh no, sorry. I know how much I hit. Yeah, we're about 20% left of this last loaded position. That's correct. Because we got stopped out there, then we rebought it back. So I remember those shares. So right now, but look what happened. Whenever we get takes, and I talked about this when we were up here, I said, you guys do you, but I do like this 50 period look right there. Sorry, the 200 period up here on Nvidia. So we did take advantage of that as it ripped up to 139.50, and we got a bunch out up there, creating a decent opportunity for NVDA. So that was a trade that we took out. We're going to reload this if it comes back down into 137. Apple's what it is. We don't have very many shares on that, and we did not get that bid on DraftKings there when we posted that bid at 34. So we'll see if it comes back. You guys know now where we're sitting at 34 there on DraftKings and on NVIDIA for the reload. So again, thank you so much for everything today, guys. We do really appreciate the support. Hit the like and the subscribe, and get ready for more options talk with Sharif and Joe on Learn to Trade, where you'll learn to trade as well. There will be some trading talk, some small cap runners, and then today's not options wheel, is it? Ooh, it is. It is the wheel. So we'll find out about that one right now. If you're trading with options wheel right now, make sure you have snow tires on, because it's going to get cold here soon, but not this weekend. It's supposed to be fantastic weather here this weekend as NVIDIA battles right back through 139 again. Let's go.
I only change them when it's U.S. Thanksgiving, man. That's a litmus for me. Well, partly we have it off, but always a good time of year. This news, N-U-Z-E, not news, you know what I mean, just reopened after a couple of, it's halted multiple times, but just reopened, challenging the high of the day. Just watch out. It already rejected the 150. Nope, there it goes, right back through that high. So I know a lot of people were looking at news, first day runner, but daily chart tells you a little bit about what's going on here. It's about to halt up. On the 15-minute, there isn't actually a red candle, so it's going into a halt off the 160 level.
Blam.
Fake halt. Nope, fake halt. So it was at the halt band and looks like it just rejected back underneath. So that's N-U-Z-E. All of a sudden, Uber is starting to set up for that long again. So we've been trying to be patient with Uber, and now it's holding higher lows above VWAP, which is what I was looking for before. I'll get rid of that. It did not hold that initial trend. Now you're just sort of holding a loose and gentle trend off VWAP. This time of day, we're going to get back into the bid here on Uber. We tried it once in the teens. It got to 40 change and then couldn't go any further. Reloaded off 80 and then didn't work. So going to go back into this long. The Expedia story, there is no official deal. So as far as I'm concerned, why is Uber down 2% on speculation that nobody can confirm? If it holds on to VWAP, I don't see why you can't get back to the highs. But the market is at lows. That's the only problem. The market's at lows. I know we're meant to go over some crypto moves. Mara just broke out a little bit here. So it's going back into the upside. You had that run down on Bitcoin. Mara held 17, trying to make a bit of a run. 18 resistance. I don't have to tell you. It broke it in the aftermarket, well, late in the afternoon, and then gap back underneath. Previous resistance was exactly at 18 bucks. If Mara takes this out in the open market, I think it could absolutely fly. The daily chart is setting up pretty well. Just note that there's overhead resistance on that daily. 18.25 on the daily is a bit of overhead resistance, but Mara seems to be on one since making those fresh lows. I know it's down 1.7%, but let's be real. It just ran 60 pennies off the bottom. I'd look for continuation of trend, hold a VWAP similar to what we're getting over there in Uber as a couple of trade options for us before we get to that 18 break, because I don't want to have to take an 18 breakout, which is literally 2% away as we speak. Rather be able to get it here on VWAP and a bit of a trend up. BTC back about 67, so it's looking pretty strong as well. Those are the only things I'm looking at as we speak. So into Uber, still have some of that Intel left, and Apple's not really doing much. I don't know if we're going to get that low again, or we're going to hold VWAP, or we're diddling in the middle, which I don't like to trade off of.
Okay, so I just noticed right here we only have 3 minutes to go. Make sure you join us for our Learn to Trade segment with Sharif and Joe coming up very soon in 3 minutes. All right, so we just noticed that NVIDIA comes right back up, so let's go a slapper on this one again. Ouch. All right, so there it goes. We take a bid again, well, we took a bid, we took an offer as the bid was building up as we take VWAP out. So again, we have to be very, very cautious of exactly what we're doing now and make sure that we take the right trades at the right time, as we keep on saying here on the show. So there it goes, breaking back up, trying to be somewhat cautious with the trades here on this trade, on this name. But again, Uber, you're long at 80. It was Nvidia right there up to VWAP getting a piece out. Now Apple, we're not worried about it. DraftKings. Oh, I punched 39s a little bit there on DraftKings. So DraftKings, we did not get that 34. I punched 39s as now you're starting to get back up. So we still have Okay, now we have 10% left of this name. So if you like it, hold it. Good bottom. Maybe the futures have bottomed. I would prefer for the market to rip up now, obviously, as we are long everything else. So Nvidia continues to go. I'm going to go for our walk. Maybe we'll check out. I don't know if we'll go to the gym or not, but we'll find out what's going on right there because I'm hoping that we can retake that. So my next offer, 139.55. We could check out Taiwan 70 now at day's high.
All-time highs.
Yep, exactly. All-time highs, day high, breaking through. Now up 13% on TSM. So again, a different day here for ASML and TSM. ASML comes out, drops their news to everybody sort of one day early. They can't even get going right now. ASML down to 680. Wow, disaster strikes for ASML again and again and again. We'll see. Nice to be in the best names here, and Nvidia is the best name. So I'm really glad to be in that. I'm not selling any of this in my long-term portfolio. We did sell some SMR yesterday at 1830.650. Let me see what's happening now. That was funny. We got like an average. Okay, so it's actually right here again. SMR again, a name that we bought just a few days ago at $13. We missed that initial break, but we're pretty happy with our performance now on SMR. I didn't notice it went to, wow, right there off the open. I don't know what was going on there, but 1980 again.
More news
That's about 40%. We're making a decent amount on this name, but again, I want to hold this for as long as we possibly can. It's not giving me Palantir vibes, but I do think that we can get a lot higher. I think they're a buyout candidate.
There's no chance that nuclear isn't. There's no way that you can continue this AI and data center boom without nuclear energy.
Right.
It doesn't. The math doesn't work. Realistically, especially when you're thinking about green. Oh, come on, you don't have a choice about it. So I think there's ample opportunity for growth, whether it's in, go the easy way of like URA, which I kind of wish I'd gone into SMR instead, and I might buy that on dips. The more I think about it, I think you're right about that. Like, URA is great, but it's not going to give you that, that oomph. Like you're not going to get that 10x. Just going into uranium in a general sense. I can't believe it's 11 o'clock already, so only just to reload an Uber for me, and Intel's being Intel, TSM at all-time highs. We got some options to learn and some small cappers to burn with Sharif and Joseph. It's still in all caps. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. Take it easy, everybody. I have to yell it.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that Midday Show. That's your boy, Joe. And I'm Sharif.